We didn't create any shop page, that's why it's coming here with the 404 error. So what you need to do first of all is to create the shop page. So I'm going to create another file which we're going to name as a shop/page.tsx or AFCE. So that will be our shop page. So now let's put a p tag, should be shop page. And after we are passing that, if we just hit reload right now, it should be render our shop page accordingly. Now, first of all, we need to understand the structure because this page is very much complicated and a lot of things gonna come here together. As far as if you see in the demo, as you can see, it gonna held up with the category segment and others. You can see how you can reset here, how you can go through all of that. So this setup we need to create by so far. Alongside with that, we need to call the data. We need to also make the filterable data structure, especially if you go in the home page. And right now if you select any brand, as you can see, the brand is selected and the product is fetched itself. So we will do all of this together. First of all, we need to start like standardizing it slowly so that we will understand it better. So first thing first, we need to create that one as an asynchronous server. So the page should be an async await, should be the server one. So I'm going to go with the brands to get the brands right here because we need to have the brand data. So should be await, let's say fetch data, and on the fetch data we need to pass directly here as our brand. So should be our brand and should be an array of brand, and then passing that /brand. And also we need to pass that list categories. So category should be is equal to, and you're gonna pass that it's just gonna be a similar component, similar functional setup to bring back the categories accordingly. As you can see, it should be coming for the category segment here, and also we're gonna pass that the category response here. So should be not like that, should be response. Where is the category? Okay, we need to align, we need to define the interface. So should be interface, and that should be the category reference, and that will come as a category. Now you can do the single side way, you can also directly call the category like that. So I went a bit further just to show you how you can divide that. You can either call it await an asynchronous function, or you can also go with that, the similar setup. You can fetch the category and then you're gonna pass it through. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna log through over here. So first log should be, let's say it's gonna be a passing as brands, then we're gonna log through the categories. If we save, and as it's till now the server side, we should be able to see the data in server. As you can see, we have the categories, as well as if we go back at the top, first we're gonna see the brand. The best thing is to show it, I think it will be probably in the server side, in the client side rendering using this layer here. So now as you can see, we have the category of 17, we have the brand of 11. So all the data is fetched in the server side. So whenever the page is loading, that build is done. So right now I'm gonna save it here, and then what we're gonna do, we're gonna create a separate page which gonna interface our project tree to create a client side presentation. So let's go in the components and also in the pages. Did we have the pages? No, we doesn't have the pages. We have the home, we have others. So I'm going to create another directory called pages, and over here that should be a shop, and then I'm going to create a component, should be shop page, shop page client.tsx. So that would be our client page. So let's hit a p tag client page. Now let's go back here. Instead of just passing everything directly here, what we need to do is that either you can put in a div, or you can just simply drag in that, which is going to be shop page and shop page client, and that's it. So now we have the client page. As you can see, this is right here. Now we will manipulate that page in a very decent way. First of all, we will send that, let's say first we're going to send the categories, then we're going to send the brands. So the both data we're going to passing as a props. Now there is a catch. You can see we fetch that data as the server side. So this data, because that data, it will always be there. Always I'm gonna say the category. So I no need to just call every time the data. I'm gonna calling it, and at the same time, then I'm gonna just fetching it and setting it, passing it as a prop. So my data is just fetching at a single time, and everything sit on the place at the same time. So now, as we have the categories, data, and others, it is our time to build up our very special page, which will be our client side page for our particular shop client. Now, this page is gonna have separate interfaces. I'm gonna pop it up. So that should be coming for the product response, which gonna bring back our product. That also gonna bring back our category, which we are just fetching directly right now. So these two setup of data is gonna coming through. Now, if you can see here, we can simply passing the props. We can fetch the categories. We can fetch the brands together as is coming as by so far as props. And now there is another parameter, because remember, once we did that, especially as you can see, we passed the shop brand, then we are passing the brand ID. If we change again, we are just fetching especially for making the brand ID and doing that in a separate brand parameter. You can change. Now there is a tax for it. Whenever I'm changing the brand, try to change that. Okay, so you need to reload the route with a new value. That's your practice. If you can do it, you are welcome. If you cannot do it, let me know in the comments. And if you're still with me building that baby shop website, you're welcome. You are really, I'm really thankful for you people, because you people doing a marvelous job. Even I'm taking a lot of time to building that. It's a very lengthy project. What I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna provide the entire source code in a single repo. It's still now in the repo, because this one I think you'll be find in the client part 3. So the repo is already there, but I'm gonna merge everything in a single repo. I'm gonna merge entire video in a single video. Maybe it will take time, but I'm gonna come with an up-to-date versions. And by the way, there is one more thing, is that which is a Shopcart Pro is already in live, and so many people, you got it, you people are building it. Thank you very much for using it, and it will be appreciated if you go with the upgrade to premium. If you're looking forward to, you can support the channel. Already 3 people bought it. You can support it if you're looking forward to, that's gonna be boost my morale, so to make more of a video and projects for you people, which I can provide that free. And this one also, pretty much so many things is gonna be free. And the shop, the baby shop, the entire thing is gonna be free. It's gonna be stacking in the repo slowly. Let's hit on the bit. So now, as we are building an entire thing, also we need to get our search params. So we're gonna bring that as a search params, params, and the param should be coming use a search params. So that should be coming from the next navigation. And now let's say what's gonna be coming in the search param. There should be several things which gonna coming from the search params. So whenever we are rendering the search params, we're gonna get the category. I'm gonna first bring the use stage hook, and remember, whenever we're gonna using the hook, especially in the Next.js, remember, by default we are using the server side configuration, and we are no longer using that server side. So we need to bring back our use client flag. And in Next.js 16.0, there is you can just check in that next configuration. There you can utilize that cache content, the cache component, which you're going to implement later. We're going to upgrade that entire project in the latest. So maybe this will be the last build for the client. Then we're going to finish our app. After that, we're gonna upgrade the entire version in the latest version. Then we're gonna merge it all together. I know it's a long build, but it will be provide you much more credential to go on. So now here we have the category and set category. So the category, we can just, if there is category coming from the search param, we're gonna passing that as the category. Otherwise empty. Similar for the brand, similar for the search. If we are searching something, that is okay, gonna get from the search param. Otherwise it's gonna be empty. So now after that initial parameter, there could be some more of those data. Of course, you should take your time to write down. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger so that you can see it properly. I think that much. Okay. So now we have another value here, which gonna bring back our products. We are getting the set products, passing that product type. We have loading, set loading. We have loading more parameter, because by default you're gonna load the 10 products. Then if we load many, it's gonna be loading more to provide you that actual data in a very decent way. Then we have also newly loaded item and set newly loaded item products, which gonna be like, we have the first page, then the second page. And the design parameter is that if we receive the entire thing here, right now if I load more products, so it gonna attach that product, and then it gonna, okay, I think some of the caching problem maybe. If we just load some more product, what's happening? I'm gonna reload that. If we are having any problem, okay, as you can see, I will disable the add from here. Yeah, it's coming, but it's disappearing. As you can see, this is right here. And there is a lot of problem with the caching right now. Okay, anyway, we're gonna fix that too. And then also we're gonna passing the total, set total, and also the price range. We are putting on the price range, we are putting the set order, either it could be ascending or descending. Then we're gonna have the current page, set current page. We have the invalid category, set invalid category when the category is invalidated. Also we have the is filter open, set is filter open. We have the product per page at 10. So now this is the category or criteria by which we're gonna go and fetch every single data. Now we are gonna be, first of all, we will create an use effect. We're gonna have two separate use effect for particular instances to be running over here. The first instances which gonna be coming, we're gonna go to the category segment, right? Because whenever we are fetching a category module, it's gonna be from there. So it's gonna be, let's say, const category from URL, and that should be coming from the search params from our category. So should be search params dot, and we're gonna get it as category. Okay, so that would be a category from URL. So that's the one value. And then if we have the category from URL, so not like that, should be a category from URL. After that, what we're gonna do, if we have that, we're gonna do something. If it doesn't have that, we will not use the fallback value right now. If we have like, okay, I think I mismanipulated the name here. Okay, so if we have the okay, what is that? Should be category, not contain category. I hate this auto importing. I need to disable. I forget. Next time I will make it correct. So now we will make that if the category start. If the category from URL is there, so should be const category exists, means even you are coming with a like whenever we are coming with a different category, like this category is not available, right? So we have that additional value here. So I believe we can find a category shop by, let's say, sleepwear. Do we have the category? This is a search value, not the category value. So let's say okay, shop by age, shop. Okay, I think how can we find a simple category which doesn't initialize a value? Okay, okay, if we see the travel smart, see, category table not found, showing all products instead. So that's the important value, should be resilient whenever we doesn't have the category. So now if we have the category, exist should be is equal to, let's say, categories dot sum. We're gonna find or can make the sum. So should be the category, and the category should be passing off that cat dot id, and that id should be is equal to category from URL. So category from URL. So that should be the existing category. Now okay, should be dot, okay, category from URL, that could be existed over here. Okay, so now what's we gonna do if we have that, if we doesn't have that existed category, right? So means the category is or you can say if it doesn't have the category, category exist, so the one which you're passing over here, okay, we doesn't have that category exist, then we're gonna passing the value. And I think it's also mismanipulation the naming here. So if it doesn't have the categories, this is really annoying. How I can disable? Please pass the your valuable information in the comments. I really want to disable that one. So should be const category name should be is equal to categories dot find. So we're gonna go with the find value, and from the find value again we're gonna get the cat's value, and from there and from the category value we're gonna make that let's say cat dot name dot to lowercase, and that lowercase should be is equal to, let's say, should be coming for that category from from URL, should be category from URL dot to lowercase. Okay, so that would be like category from URL should be as such. Now this is if category exists, then if gonna work, and then we're gonna also make that if there is the category category by name is there, then we're gonna make some actions which gonna be set category, which gonna be passing from that category from URL. So category from URL. So that's really what's category category from URL. Why is the name is not matching every time I'm typing? So if a category is matched, okay, that's fine. If it doesn't match, what I'm gonna make that set invalid category, and that should be coming from category URL. Set category should be passing an empty. So this is the matter. Once we are not passing any valid category, we are passing that invalid category should be that category from URL, and that's where we can pass the message category travel not found showing all products instance. So that's just maintaining that instances. And for this use effect, we're gonna have to be passing the search params. You're gonna have to be passing that categories all together for that dependencies. Now after that, we're gonna also make that a function which gonna be, let's say, fetch products, okay, and that function we're gonna wrap it using that use callback hook, so that which will be maintaining a very proper scenario. So it will be an asynchronous function. So the load more, the value over here, load more should be is equal to false, okay, should be as false. And after passing that scenario, so the load more is equal to false, and after that pass that value. Okay, so now this will be a callback statement, and of course, as we're passing the callback statement, we should be also having a fallback directory. Now what kind of things we're gonna passing over there? So first of all, as you can see, we will get the product gonna be passing a several scenario and a statement. First of all, we're gonna pass that if there is load more products, set load more loading should be true, and also the else okay, if there is load more products, set more loading should be true. If is no load more, okay, I think we will okay, set, okay, where I'm going, okay, if there is okay, set loading should be true, and then we're gonna make that a try catch formula here to bring back our product. To in the catch value, of course, we can just simply pass the error here so that we can understand it better. So if we have any problem with the cache value, you're gonna pass that console log failed to fetch products error, set total should be 0, because the count total is representing here, if you can see, the 10 of 25 products, because we have the pagination, so that really matters, especially for the total count which we are passing from our API. Especially if you go right here, if you go in the localhost 8000, so let's say localhost 8000 /API/products, and over here after the products, you can see we are providing the actual count so that the data can be populated by so. And then what we can do is that, especially after catch, we can make a finally call. So in the finally, what we're gonna do, we're gonna make set loading should be false, and set loading more also should be false value. Now this is the time by which we can graph the scenario and make things done. First of all, we need to create a params method, because a lot of things can call over there. As you can see, the params can get that news URL search params. If category there, we will add the category. If the brand is there, we're gonna append the brands with the params. That if the search value is there, we're gonna append the search, also the price range, because we have the price range filter here. You can see all prices, or we can go value with the 20 to 50, you know, the all price range data, which we can show right here. And then we have the page, current page toString. We have the limit, how many products we want to go by, and that's actually basically representing the products per page data. And then this, as you can see, is right here. We have the sort order. So now all the params is ready, right? The params is done. So now we need to make a response. So response should be is equal to, we can make that should be, let's say, product not like that, should be products response, and in the product response should be coming is equal to await, and then we're gonna call that, let's say, fetch data. On the fetch data, we're gonna call a simple scenario, right? In the fetch data, we are gonna calling that / products, and now we're gonna go with the backtick parameter, so should be coming with the backtick like that, backtick. and / products. And after the products, what we're gonna do, we also need to pass our entire params statement. So it should be coming params dot to string. We need to make it a string, otherwise the value it will not come. And then as you can see, we're gonna just simply see, we're gonna log through the data here, how the data gonna coming. So I'm gonna log over here. So I'm gonna log on that, let's say response res should be coming the response. Now okay, should be coming here. So let's go there. And for the first instances, if okay, it's still it gonna not work because we didn't call it, right? So what we need to do, especially for that instances, we will pass the category we will pass the category, so the category, and then you're gonna pass the brand, search, price range, set order, current page, or I think instead of current page, we're gonna just pass that products per page. And also we need to pass the current page. So whenever those data is changing, it's gonna call. Now this fetch products function didn't call anywhere. So how we can call the product, right? So let's say use effect, and here we're gonna call our simple notation by which it's gonna go and bring the fetch products. Should be coming the fetch products, and the fetch products gonna be declining on functions, and fetch products gonna call I'm gonna just keep it for the first instances. So you can see we have the products and total is 25, and then we have the single page product right here available. And after that value, we also gonna make that set current page as 1. So whenever we are calling that particular first instances, we are passing that as a set current page as 1. I think this is not required. Even I'm gonna check whenever we are passing that. So you're gonna have the category, not the categories, we're gonna have the category brand fetch products function not required, because then it's gonna just go and make a partial loop over here. So gonna be category, brand, search, price range, set order, and that's it. And also we're gonna we can fundamentally make another setup over here, which is gonna pass that use effect value right here. And after that parameter, we're gonna make that if the current page is bigger than 1, so means we have the lots of other pages, we can just make that fetch products as true. Okay, and on that use effect state, we can simply make that if the current page is changing, also if the fetch products we are calling, that time it can interlink that data value. And after that, we also can make some more other parameter which can come over here like that. So we can get the newly loaded products dot length is bigger than 0, then it's gonna be passing a timer. We are making the search value calling, and you are just clearing the time value setup. And after that, we also need to provide some more scenario, right? One scenario is that whenever we are calling that the total page, right? How the total page is gonna be calculated, because we are having a pagination, right? So the total pages, a method cell, we are getting the total then products per page. So now you see the value. Either you can do it in your server, but those things you can also make sure to provide it in the client side. So now what we are doing, we're getting the total count, then we are dividing it into the product per page. So I have 25 product. Now I have the product per page is 25. So now if we get the total pages, let's say we're gonna get that total pages, which gonna be coming as 2.5 for sure. So let's just see what we are grabbing right here in the console. So you can see okay, it's just rendering as 0. So I'm going to reload that data. Okay, okay, total, why this is 0? Okay, math.sale, is it not working? So why is not providing that total pages? Or we can just check the total. Let's see, total is coming. Okay, because we didn't make set the total. Okay, so what I'm gonna go, I'm gonna do over here, you see the response we have, but we didn't do anything with the response. We didn't get the data yet. So what I'm gonna do, first of all, I'm gonna make that set total, which gonna be that one as that response dot total. So that's the total value. Okay, now after that, also we're gonna make so we're gonna have to separate value to load or converted the data. What's gonna be, as you can see, if we have load more, so it's gonna be passing that set a newly load more data, which is gonna coming from response to products, and the set product is gonna be the product. We're spreading the product, then we are passing the response dot product. So we are passing entire products data. Otherwise, the newly load more products gonna be empty, and set product should be only response.products. So right now, if I save and if I reload right here, we should be happen to be changed. See the changes. So the pages is 3 because it's 2.5 gonna be, we are making the sales, so it's gonna be 3 pages, and we have the 25 products. So that's how we are going to show the magics. And I'm gonna also keep it like that, so whenever you're fetching, it will not make any issue. And still, what I recommend you, you have certain kind of way to do those, and there is the AI. You can take help of AI to just to see how you can do it in a bigger picture, right? So it's not only that I know everything or you know everything. No, we are no we all are knowing something, right? So when you are maximizing with that, we can take something creative, make something greater. So that's my concern over here. If you have some good assumption, if you have some good ethic, let me know in the comments. I will implement it for sure, and I'm also looking forward to learn something more from you people. If you are sharing your knowledge, especially in the comments, and you are sharing the video, which can really help me to boost my morale. Okay, done. So now after that also, which we will make a certain kind of setup over here. So as you can see, I'm gonna go and make some of the price range value, which gonna be making, because I can also make it from the API, or I will just go to create it right here, 0 to 20, 20 to 50, 50 to 100, and 100. That's the range which I'm clarifying for you people. If you're looking forward to provide that, especially in the in the data layer, that's up to you. And also what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just pass certain kind of functionality here, because that will clear the filter. So now as you can see, this is the price range, this is the load more products. So if the has more products and lot more loading more is empty, because there's, when you're refreshing, we're gonna just, or we are bypassing, like whenever you see, once we are loading, whenever you're clicking at the load at the before, if I remove that, so okay, that's the loading. So whenever we are loading, that's when those things gonna run together. And after that, we have the receipt category. So whenever you're receipting, we're keeping the set categories empty, set current page is 1, invalid category should be empty, set brand, putting the brand as 1. And whenever we are receipting receipt, we are making the, like, we have a receipt button. Whenever you're receipting, we are making setting, we're calling in the current page data in the search, and you can see we are individually receipting the data, right? And then we have the receipt price range, we have the receipt sort order, then this is the receipt all filters. That's at the top over here. Especially if you go here, you can see that's the button which gonna receipt everything from there. So that's where we are doing things, making the set category empty, set brand is empty, search empty, price range is null, set order is coming the default value as ascending, set current page is 1, set invalid category which gonna be empty. Now we did a lot of things, right? It's now the time to show the data, because we are talking a lot but not showing any kind of data. So let's bring back the data together to see the actual page structure. And after that, I'm gonna putting, or I can just simply make that a class name, padding y should be, let's provide a 10 of padding y. And after that, I'm gonna provide a div here, and then gonna coming another div. I think we should be popping up to separate div, because as you can see, we have a sidebar, like we have the top, we have in the group layer here. So that's the top layer, which gonna be I think that's gonna be, so let's say I'm going to cut it. So I'm going to have, let's say, 2 div, right? So div into should be 2, right? So this is the 2 div. 1 div should be, let's say, top, right? So that would be the top part, and that would be bottom. So bottom part should have 2 div. So div into, we're going to just maximizing, because so many times I'm just passing there. So should be sidebar, and then should be products. So this, the entire value statement should be, let's say, class name should be flex. Now let's see, gonna be side by side. So first we're gonna build up the tag top. You can see this is the top, because here the side value, you can see that filters button and these two gonna be coming at together point. Now let's bring back to at the main part. So over here, I'm gonna just provide a bit of certain level of data, which can really helpful. So I'm gonna provide a simple div here, and the div gonna be contain an h2 tag, which gonna be make that shop products. So it should be products. And also for the p tag, I'm gonna passing that we need to pass that product length here. So once we are happen to be calling the product, like we are having loading data, if we have loading, we're gonna passing that loading. If we doesn't have the loading, we can show the data, right? So now we're gonna go with the backtick, and that's gonna be passing that showing, and from there we will pass the product data layer. So it should be products dot length, if length, and then also we're gonna pass that off, and then we're gonna show the total value of our data, and then we're gonna pass that products. So actual product 10 of 25. Why? Because we are having the per page value. So especially if you go like if you just receipt all, now this is having the 25, so we're gonna call and fetch the 25. This is having some issue, I need to fix that ASAP. So now we can load more data. You can see okay, not coming 25. Okay, we're gonna fix it in real time. Even if you're having problem, that's what we'll do for in real life time. Now what we're gonna do, especially for the particular instances here, so let's go, we're gonna make some alignment here. So put a class name, that should be text should be 2XL, and font should be semi bold. Okay, good. And for the p tag, put a class name, text should be, let's say I'm gonna provide a baby shop black, and from there I'm going to provide an 80% opacity, or we can provide let's say we can provide a 70% opacity, and here the font should be medium. And after that, as such as far, so we have the category, right? So now what we can do, we also can pass the message which we are having. Also you're having the invalid category, like I'm going to provide a div and then a p tag, so that you're going to see what actually we are looking forward to. So the category, and then we will pass that uncoded data. So let's say we're going to quote unquote, right? So to make the quote unquote, you're going to put and sign, then it's going to be a quote, and like that. And then we're going to pass that, let's say invalid category name, and the similar parameter again. I think that's gonna be stacking all together. Okay, now what is the uncode meaning? What I'm typing, especially the uncode meaning, is that whenever we are passing that code, this is the uncode, but once we are deploying, we can't pass directly there, we're gonna find an error. So no products found, that could be a showing all products instead. So that's just an error, and of course we need to provide some of the certain value here. So put a class name, margin top should be 2, bj should be YOLO of 50, and then we're gonna make the border, and the border YOLO should be 200, and of not a border y should be not also the rate, should be YOLO, border YOLO 200. So that's, you can see right now, and that will be fixed because it get taking the whole way now. Rounded MD. For the p tag here, text should be small text, and text should be YOLO 800. Okay, done. And after that, so as we are having that, this always not be seen, right? Because in that particular div here, I'm gonna put a class name. I'm gonna make it a margin top of 6, or I'm gonna keep it margin top as usual. I'm gonna make it a flex, so it's gonna be coming all together, and justify and should be coming off that, let's say item should be center, and justify should be between. So now you can see that's coming all together, because right now after this div we should be let's say it's gonna be receipt button. So that's the button gonna be coming right there to make the receipt. You can see there is a borderline here, or you can also make that, let's say I'm gonna make it a padding. Let's say padding should be 1, so that it's gonna happen to be a room, or padding y should be 1, and padding x should be 4, so that or not 4, I think 2 is enough. Yeah, now you can see that's having a very good and proper meaning, and that div gonna be only visible whenever, because we need to put a condition, otherwise every time it's gonna show whenever we're gonna have an invalid category, and we're gonna passing that div. So we're good to go. Now we need to grab that receipt button. How we can do that? First of all, we need to find a condition, right? If we have, let's say we have the category, so let's say a category or and then we're gonna pass that brand. So all the search parameter once is available, or it can be the search, and then we're gonna have the price range, or and then we're gonna also have the sort order. So, and sort order is not equal to ascending, so should be ASC. not equal to ascending, and then we need to pass any other format. So and we're gonna have a button, right? And the button gonna be passing that reset all filters. And then we also need to make that, let's say the variant should be outline. And after that, the class name, the text should be small text. And also on click, we're going to make that, let's say receipt all filters, which we did before. And then we're going to make that, let's say one more thing, class name we did already. What is the pending? We will make that disable. The button should be disable once the loading gonna not loading mode products, but loading gonna call. So now we have the button, we are having the products, especially whenever right now where we can see, because it doesn't exceed it on there. So now as we are having there, our that div work is done. So this is the time where we need to work with our second parameter, where we're going to showcase our entire product structure. Now the product structure gonna be happen to be two setup, right? So you're gonna make a flex column by default, and MD should be a flex row, and I'm gonna provide a gap of, let's say the gap of should be 5 gap. It's gonna be okay with that. So now you can see there is a gap of 5, and by the way, we can also we can also provide a margin top from there if you are looking forward to. Okay, I'm gonna provide that later. Okay, right now what we need to do, we need to grab some particular value to go and distribute the setup over there, because we need to provide a certain commotion of data by which we can do a lot of things to make things better. So first of all, what I'm gonna do is that I will provide a div here, of course, which I already provided. Then I'm gonna, for that particular div, gonna happen to be some of the class name. And the class name itself gonna be, as you can see, the flex column. And then also I think this one, or I can make that MB should be 6, you know, just provide a gap. You can put 5 or 6. I think 5 is passing through a notion. Okay, now this one having to padding 5. So you can see that's the one which we are happen to be in the sidebar. So if I just make that sidebar, you can see some data is right there. The padding 5, background color should be the baby shop white, width full, max width 64. That could be there, and min weight is 60. So minimum 60, maximum 64, and rounded LG, also passing a border. Now what kind of data it gonna head through? You're gonna have filters, you're gonna have all the categories distributed, you have all the brands, we're gonna have the price range, we're gonna have the ascending, descending. So you know, we're gonna use the select value, which gonna be wrapping up with the options, and that's it, done. So we're gonna do instantly with all of the setup. So first thing first, we're gonna taking another, so this is the sidebar, so that's, we're gonna take another div, and the div gonna contain let's say it's gonna contain a button. So let's go, it's gonna happen to get a button. Okay, so I think we first need to work for, especially for that's the button. Yeah, we need to first work for the smaller screen, because otherwise, or we can pass the scenario. Let's say small devices. You're gonna come back later on there, because the small screen devices is gonna be, we are keeping it later on. Now we're gonna have a div here, and then the div gonna be an h3, which gonna passing that value as filters, right? So that will popping up our filter segment, and that div which gonna be put a class name by default, it's gonna be hidden, and MD should be blocked, so that gonna stay. And that filter text, we're gonna put a class name, text should be LG, and font should be semi-bold. So you can use the title which we created. So the title you can see in the components, and also we can pass that filters, right? That same you can do, but I'm gonna keep it in a very resilient way. I'm gonna go in a medium way, so that you can try something new within your own parameter. Okay, text LG is not working, I have some mispronunciation. Now h3, after h3 I'm going to provide so that's the div. Why we need to have the div? That could be there. So after that, instant segment. Okay, so this is the h3 div, which gonna be MD block hidden. I think we can go instantly on that particular div here, And over here, okay, we can go by. So there should be a separate portion here. So you need to find a tuning over there. We need to show some of the value here, so that could be the filterable data value. So I'll go with the simple notation, or I'm going to just remove it from the div. I'm going to go to create a separate div. Let's see if we have the search value, then we need to provide to show the search value is there. If we have the search value, then we're gonna passing a div which gonna provide the entire segment of the search text, remember. So that's gonna be providing the search text. I'm gonna show you how this is gonna be start and how that's gonna be ending on there. So remember that we have the search value previously. If we go especially, okay, data is loading. If we go for that comfy, or I think the travel is smart comfy, this one sleepwear. So now you see that's the search value sleepwear. If we cut, it's gonna remove. So this is the same functionality which we create right here. You can see it will show the search value. If we click on there, it's gonna receive the search value. So this is what we did here. And if I just remove of that notation, so okay, I remove the condition, you can see that's the search value, and that's what it's gonna be done once it's gonna be happen to be in maximizing its potential to be do or clearly manipulating over there. And for that div here, we need to provide some of the division of classes. So the class is filter open gonna be blocked, otherwise gonna be hidden, and whenever the MB screen gonna be blocked, and space Y should be 4. So this particularly gonna be working for the smaller skin too. So if I go in the filter, so that's it gonna be showing right here. So let's go in the Babymart, and then we're gonna coming up from the same segment and from the same scenario, and you're gonna see let's say shop sleepwear, and over here you can see that's the value. So the same key which we are showcasing here according to the data structure and the data layer. So now this is for the search value itself. So now this particular alignment gonna be for all. Now this for the search value, and after the search value we are gonna to provide the other parameter also. So now let's go pull back the category. So I'm gonna provide a div here, and in the div I'm gonna make another div, and that div gonna be passing a label, and the label I'm gonna just keep it like that, or no need for HTML. I'm gonna just go for that gonna be passing that a category. So it should be category. Okay, let me open that. So the category, and also the space was always 4, but I don't know why it's not working so far. It's there, right? So for the label, let's put a class name. Block text should be a small text. Font should be, let's say I'm gonna make it a medium, and also I'm gonna make a margin bottom as 2. Okay, so that could be the data structure. So now as we have the category label, right? So this structure gonna be similarly as such every time. So now what we're gonna do, we're gonna also passing, so after the label itself, we need to pass the button, the receipt button once the category is selected. So the same thing gonna happen. If you see selected category, the button gonna be together. So receipt is gonna be filtered by together. So I'm gonna just comment the condition here. So you should be able to see the button. So now what I need to do, especially for the label parameter, put a flex, and that should be flex, justify should be on between, and item should be center align. That's it. And you see that's working perfectly. And if you're looking forward to putting a more gap, put a gap and make that gap as the MB should be let's say 4. That should be a bigger value over here. I think this is the filter. The filter's gonna be happen to be some more value, right? This is the filter text right here, and if we put MB as let's say 8, no, this is not getting, that's why should be coming up from the filter. So let's put a class name, not like that, put a class name MB as 4, not like, okay, where is the field? Okay, that is the top. Okay, that's my bad. I'm just putting especially in the top circulation, because there it will not be there. It's gonna be coming as on that filter. So now let's say I'm gonna provide a margin bottom of 4. Okay, now you see we're getting it. So you can just change the data layer how much you want or how you want. So it's up to you. I'm gonna just go through the one again, as I told earlier, or I told several times in multiple videos, that try to be creative. Don't follow what I'm typing right now. Doesn't need to follow what I'm pasting right now. You can, whenever I'm copy pasting, don't follow it. Try to shackle your brain and try to understand. Even don't go for the chat GPT or any AI. Try to understand the magic and logic together while you're putting there. Right now, as you see, I'm doing that design. You can remove, you can do some of your design, right? That could be where the learning curve is. Everybody watching the video, but not everybody learning to make those projects together, right? It depends on how much attention you are putting on the details and how much creativity you are looking forward to having it together, right? So now, as you can see, that's the div which I'm having right now, and after that div we're gonna have a select parameter. Don't forget to import that UI select, and the select should be a passing to have that a select trigger. So it should be trigger, and be careful, all the things gonna be coming as the similar way, and that should be a select value, right? So select value, and in the select value should be passing a placeholder, gonna be passing a text, should be passing a text, select a category. Okay, that's it. I'm gonna keep it like such. I think so. Select a category. So you can see select a category, but once I click, nothing happened. The same, but we're gonna change the design by so far. Now we need to provide that category for to select to trigger that endpoint, trigger that point to go and make things better. First of all, we're going to provide the value. The value itself going to be two separate value. Either can be, it could be the value of the category, a single category over there. Otherwise, it can be get all the value properties from there. Now, as you can see, still nothing here because we didn't provide the category segment here. Now, after that, we also need to provide that to separate positioning here, which is going to be a function whenever we're going to change the value, and also a function whenever we are going to making it visible. When the loading is running, it's going to be visible on the when the value is changing a selected category. If the value is equal to all, should be none. Otherwise, you're going to pass the value, and the set current page 1 and set invalid category should be empty. Now for the trigger itself, we're going to provide a width of full, and going to padding should be 2, and border should be, we're going to provide a border, and we're going to make that a rounded parameter. Just put it rounded. So I think the rounded is, we're going to make an MD rounded. So what's the rounded we have? Yeah, that's the MD parameter here. Okay, that's cool. Now the select value, okay, placeholder, select the category. So now after that trigger, we have the trigger, then we have the select content. Okay, so select not like that, so should be contained here. In the select content, we will pass that as a select group. So select group, and on that particular select group here, let's see, we are gonna make that a select label. So on that select label, we're gonna pass that as a categories, right? So this is the categories, you can see. Okay, fine. So now the value parameter is there. So as you can see right now, if we are coming here, like if we doesn't choose any value property right now, so you're gonna receive entire filter, we have the all categories as a default parameter, right? So we're gonna pass that too. Now we doesn't have any category segment, and still we have the categories as far for the select level itself. Now we're gonna pass the item, right? So it should be select item here. So in the select item, we need to pass a multiple value property here. So first value property should be passing as that all categories, right? And that item gonna be passing the value should be as all. So that's the all category value. That should be the first one. Then we are gonna be mapping through for the categories. So categories dot map, and every single category we're gonna pass the cat, which gonna be take a parameter of the category, and after that we're gonna just simply pass that as a select item. So select not content but an item, and in the select item should be passing that cat, not like that, cat dot name. And also as we are mapping, we need to provide the key should be let's say cat dot id. That should be the mapping key. So right now, even we click, you see, we can now avail to see all the category segment, right? So also the parameter, okay, what's wrong here? Select value is missing, so we need to provide the value. The value should be, it's gonna be coming as a cat dot id. So that could be the value. Now every time we are changing interlog, you see the value is changing, right? So that's the today's value, and you can see because the loading instances now no product is finding, if you're just getting the receipt product, you can see the value parameter is working and the product also is calculating, but we are not seeing there. And right now what's before finishing or finalizing the old setup itself, right now we can do something better. And before moving to grab the product, I want to share another things with you. You can hit me on the Medium with the same thing, medium.com/at react.js Now here what we are doing, here we are publishing whatever the latest news we have, whatever the blog pattern we have. We are passing or trying to build up those things definitely. Now you can see that React, how you can implement the React Native and what kind of update you're having to have, especially topmost a clear idea about focusing the latest data and also the latest technologies which we are talking about right here. So feel free to come and just follow me in the Medium if you're looking forward to have some good ideas about the new tech, have some good ideas of the changing history about the tech and how it's moving on, that can embrace the knowledges for you people, and you can also understand the things in a much better way. Okay, so now we need to show the products, right? So that we should understand a bit better. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just keep everything right here. So right now what we need to provide is that to apart from the filters, we need to maximize the scenario by which we can show the product data. So now, as you can see, we have the products layer right here. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put a class name, and over here, I'm gonna make that BJ should be baby shop white. So I'm gonna make simply the full white color. And after that, padding should be 5 and rounded should be MD. And we're gonna take the full width, right? So you can see that is the part which we are talking about. And also, if you want to put the border, you can put the border so that you can see the data. I think here, there is no border, but there is the inner border right there. I think what we did right now, maybe show white, but here is that the combination is not so much. I think we need to handle that manually. We're gonna do that run so that the color combination gonna be a little bit better. So right now I'm gonna keep it simple as we are gonna be showcasing the product. Now, first of all, if we have the loading, right? If we have the loading, then we're gonna provide that. Let's see if we have the loading, and also we need to combine to separate. If we have the loading and the products dot length is equal to 0, then we're gonna show something, otherwise we're gonna show something. If we have this is not equal to empty, means we have the products, and the loading and other parameter gonna coming, then let's say it's gonna be passing. Let's say I'm gonna just make that as loading. So right now we're having the product. If we select any category, you can see that's a parameter let's say car seat. Okay, it's still not showing here because the loading, you see, that's the loading which I'm talking about. You see the loading and getting the product. So that's how we are going to be combining the data structure to follow through the scenario. Okay, now for the loading, what we can do is that I'm going to just create a simple skeleton here. Now in the components, you can just make a folder structure, should be a skeleton, and over here I'm going to just pass that should be the shop skeleton. Here as you can see, we are providing that especially the same structure ratio, providing the grid pattern. You see the grid, whatever the product card grid we are following through, that's the same grid pattern which we are passing there. So now what we'll do, instead of that loading, we're gonna pass that our central system value, which gonna be passing that shop skeleton value. Shop skeleton, that's it. So now if you just see the loading here, you can see that's the product loading skeleton card, which is gonna be timber over there. Now for this products layer here, we're gonna also take another div, then we're gonna pass that if we have the products dot, then we're gonna map through it. So from there it's gonna be taking as the product, and also I'm gonna take the index to provide that ID. You can just pass the ID, an actual ID, that also gonna be okay if you're looking forward to. Now we're gonna manipulate some data, so that's gonna be as a newly loaded and other parameter. We can go through it. That could be then we're gonna pass the return value. In that return, we can just simply return some of the data. Let's say that should be products. Now what's actually we did here, okay? Okay, here what we need to provide the key should be, let's say the key should be we're gonna just put a backtick here. We're gonna maximize the key, and the first parameter we're gonna pass that as, let's say, gonna be product dot id, and then also we're gonna just put an equal mark on that. Then we're gonna go with index. Okay, so you can see the products. Now what actually we are doing is that product is newly loaded, so newly loaded products.sum, and then we are pushing that is equal to, we are just publishing or categorizing on that, and that could lead us an error because that's where we are looking forward to. But we're gonna fix that. We're gonna go whatever we are having in the current scenario, then if you're facing the error, we're gonna fix that in real time. Now in that parameter here, which is multiply doing the same thing, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to just make that as the product card. So product card, and in the product card we need to pass the product as same, so it should be passing our product value. And as you can see, we have the product, but not in good fashion, because you see the top layer of the div. I'm gonna make that one class name. We're gonna just take the width as full, and then also put a class name here. That should be, I'm gonna make it a grid, and the grid column should be by default as 2. And also running in the LG screen, grid column should be, let's say it's gonna be 4, and Excel grid column should be 5, and gap should be, let's say 3. Not so. The placeholder should be should be only a gap of 3. Okay, done. So now as you can see, we have 5 products. Okay, cool. Okay, that's really amazing. Now of course the mobile responsiveness, we're gonna bring that. Now if we select any category, let's say baby deals. Okay, you can see that's highlighting. If we select okay, I think one tiger is not happening. When you see, okay, all categories today still. Okay, I think one things which he commented out. Okay, anyway, we'll go one by one. Let's see if we're facing any other problem. We're gonna come back later on. Okay, so now of course we need to provide some of the class name, and also we can go alongside with the style if you're looking forward to. But if you're finding a good tune without not popping up those things, you are good to go. So we are putting a transition here. All duration is the in out. Whenever we're loading, remember it's gonna be popping from top to like below to top. So that's what we are going to encouraging here to get it. Okay, right now after that, after having the product card, also for the div itself, which actually happen to be some of the problem, I'm going to just popping those things later on so that you can understand a bit of how those things is going through. So now after that div here, okay, after the div, we're gonna passing those value. Okay, so the loader to data, and that's it. So now you can see if we have more product, we are loading the product. Okay, cool, it's loading. And of course, if we happen to be like say under that, nothing, no product, baby deals, okay, that's product, you have seen it all, no more products to show. Now what could happen once we doesn't have any product, or like so. So right now if we have that, so this is the scenario, I think so. So now we need to maximize that structure. Okay, so now as we have the skeleton here, we can do something more, right? So as you can see in that layer, we can put another value. Like if we have the products dot length, if we have the length like it's bigger than 0, then it's gonna be having something, right? So what's the something is that's the value, right? If it doesn't have the products, right? If it doesn't have the product, and also if it's not loading, right? Only then we want to pass something which gonna be, and let's say it should be empty product. Okay, so okay, I think so that could be needed like that, not like that. Okay, let me see what we are missing. Okay, like that, div, no product. Okay, I think I was manipulating in the wrong side. So this is my entire structure, right? So this is the div which okay, which we did. So if we have the 0 value, then we need to provide that, let's say, yeah, that would be, let's say, a div no products. Yeah, it's a little bit messy, but you'll get it. once you're doing I'm not baby feeding by so far, so you need to certainly do some of the mechanism here. Okay, which every single okay, that's the no products category. Now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna happen to provide an empty list parameter. That's the components which I'm gonna have to have that. So in that product criteria, so in the common, not in the common, common has the pages anyway. You okay, that's the pages here. Okay, now happen to be that okay, that's the UI button component here, which need to be provided in a very good way. So now what actually that component is doing, right? So this component taking a message and also a receipt filter button by default is popping up, and after that is just a loader icon. Then we're getting the no products found and also receipt filter. So that's the same structure ratio. If you just select the category here, nursing feeding, I think nothing here for that. You see, no, it's still also what is not here, baby skincare. So this product we doesn't have, so let's say baby skincare. Okay, so once you do that, that's the one which you're looking forward to make that. So that's the same structure. Now you can design it. This doesn't matter that you need to make the same design again. I'm exercising that maybe you'll try to provide your rights to create some very unique and a very legit design which can be really cool. And for sure, let me know in the comments, or if you did something more or better or not. If you cannot, if you're having any problem, also let me know in the comments. I know I will try to create the script file by which you can populate data for sure. Now that should be empty screen, so empty screen list data, and from there I'm going to pass the message, and the message should be no products match to your selected filters, right? And after that we're going to have a button, so receipt filters, and the receipt filter is going to be passing that receipt filter. That's the function. So now if you receive the filter, automatically all the products going to appear, right? So right now again there is the certain scenario on or the segment which is still pending. So this is the product case right here. Now we need to bring back the other filter statement. So as you can see, we have the filter for the category here. Now we need to get the filter for the brand. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pop in the brand. So let's go at the top. So at the top, that's where the category is done. So I'm gonna go and popping that value. So that should be search, and that should be category, and over here that should be brands. Okay, now the brands having the brand data, the similar of the category, the same structure, same segment, just function is changed, the data layer is changed, doesn't matter at all. We have the we have that label for the brand and also for the receipt button, which is receiving right now only the brand. You can see it's only receiving the brand property and then the button here, and we are showcasing the brand instead of the category, and we are passing all the brand data. So that's it. That's go for our brand. And after the brand, we need to also fine tuning over to separate statement. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna popping that up. So after brand, we have the price range, and also we have the sort by. So two separate statement need to be coming up. So I'm gonna go and bring the price range right now. So that should be price range, and in the price range, the same thing. We're just popping up the price statement value, which gonna be popping up the prices whatever we are having right now. That's it. So after the price range, we need to provide that the filter for our sort by. So whatever the sorting data we are recording right now, we need to provide that. Let's say should be it would be okay, the price range is done. So should be, let's say, what kind of value is that? That should be sorted value. Okay, so sort filter. Okay, done. So it could be the newest first, could be the oldest first. If you go in the oldest, you can see that's getting the oldest. If you're getting the newest, it's getting the newest. So now you can also load and reload the structure. I think one of the things which we bypassing right now, especially right here, okay, that's the one. So this is the products which you are showcasing. Now if the product is equal to I think this is the condition which we are passing loading, and also the product value is equal to 0. I think I'm going to remove that. Whenever the loading is done, like whenever the loading is happening, I want to showcase that. Okay, so okay, cool. So now you see, so every time it's loading, we have that things to running. Yeah, that could be resume the error if whatever the error we are getting it. So later on we are calculating that to see the value there. So this is the structure of the shop page. Now this is not fully completed. You can do a lot of other parameter. So one thing is still pending, which I forgot of there. So this is the for the smaller devices, remember, which the filter button, which we didn't done for the smaller devices. So invalid category, all filter value, and for over here we need to provide a small devices parameter, which it could be pretty simple and pretty straightforward, because now we need to just provide a button, right? So that is, we need to provide a button which can populate the data here for the smaller. So that should be the chevron up, and also that should be the chevron down to just showcase the data structure. So right now, if we go here for see if it's working or not, in the filter value, you see all the filter is coming up. So that's what we did. So what we did, said filter button is open, then in that filter, we are showcasing all the filter. If it's done, we just hiding all the filter value available, and so on the MB screen it should be the hidden, because the data is right here in that skeleton property. So now we can view and properly align all the data structure. So this is the shop page where we did all of our magic. So right now let's go back to create something very unique. We can add to the card, right? So we need to log in. Let's say I'm going to log in with an admin. So did admin is working? I have no idea. Okay, login failed, or we can directly go to make, let's say it should be a John at gmail.com. I think we have that. Okay, yeah, registered successful. So it should be John Doe, and then okay. So now we are signing in as John Doe, and John Doe doesn't have an email and others. But let's see if John Doe can add to the product in the cart. So whenever it's adding, okay, it's gonna be added to the cart, and you can see we can view the success message. If we go in the cart, we doesn't have a cart page, right? So we need to go and particularly create those pages, and there's a lot of other pages which we cannot create up from the scratch, but we can go and manipulate those things in a very, very efficient manner. So first of all, what we could do is that we should be we happen to be grab the pages, so many pages for the users and others. So you can see we have the user and user profile, right? So this is the profile layout for the user. So beside the profile, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna create another file here. And again, this things is not required actually, because as you can see right now, we happen to be grabbing the car. So we can just simply take it to the root layer. No need to exercising those empty segment, because we are only having a single layout pattern. So over here, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna create another file which gonna be, let's say it's gonna be cart and page.tsx rfce. So that could be cart page, and that could be, let's say not like that. Okay, what's wrong? That could be p, not a p tag. Okay, cart page cart, whatever is there. So now this is going to be our cart page here. So in the cart page, we will try to maximize our magic so that it can be really good to see. Now again, I don't want to make that cart page as client component, so you may feel free to create whatever the setup scenario you're looking forward to. But what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna in that particular page, so let's say that's the common, I'm gonna go with that page. Okay, so I'm gonna create another component which gonna be, let's say, cart page. So it should be cart page client.tsx rfce. So that should be our cart page client. Okay, so instead of passing there, I'm going to just simply drop that cart page client, because the cart pages must be client, because every single data layer and others is going to be coming to the cart page and all. And of course we are handling that our middleware which are actually exercising, or later on we're gonna like we're gonna just manipulate it as a proxy, which we're gonna do later on. Because right now in the middleware, did we create the middleware? No, not yet. So it will not support us if it's not happen to be, we need to exercise the middleware. of course. So of course, let's say in the app, beside the app we should be, so this is our client and the client doesn't have a middleware, so we need to have the middleware. So I'm gonna just popping that middleware for you people. Now what's you can just console, I'm gonna just debug log, I'm gonna keep that log so you can debug it how it's gonna be happen. So now what we did here, the middleware, you see the cart page without user. Like if I just logged in right now, log out, so now anybody, if I go in the cart, anybody can see the cart, right? So this is exercising like everybody can go and see your cart. You cannot stop people that they cannot see the cart right now, they can see. But what we're gonna do, we're gonna set up the middleware by which without logged in nobody can access, especially you can see the user route. So the alt sign in, you can see they start with user is not authenticated, you know, it's gonna redirecting to the middleware. So that's how it's gonna be happen to be configure the authentication, and we need to implement that in a better way. So if in okay, the middleware is not working by so far, why this is happening? It should work. Let's see what we are missing right now. Or as we just copy paste, you know, sometimes it can happen. So what I'm gonna do, npm run dev again, so that middleware it will load. Okay, see the middleware compiled. So right now if we just load our application, it's supposed not to be passing here, but somehow it's just grabbing it. So user car is not trigger up, so somehow our middleware is not, which middleware we just copied, is it our middleware? Okay, so here what we are passing, let's see. Can we check the, can we also visit the profile? Yeah, we can view the profile, and right now there is nothing to be signed out, so the middleware must to be work properly. Or instead of passing that directly, I think that's not a good practice, and middleware cannot handle those things indirectly. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna remove it. I'm gonna pouring that everything one by one so that it can be more understandable. So in the client, you see in the root, we're gonna create a file called middleware middleware.ts, and later on also we are gonna moving to Next.js 16.0, then that time it should be coming as the middleware, not a middleware, it's gonna be coming as a proxy, right? So we have the middleware in the client. So right now we're gonna just put a systematic, just a simple completable functionality which gonna be coming from the next request and then the next response. So right now we're gonna export a function. So let's see, export function that could be calling as the middleware, and that middleware is going to be taking the request. That request is going to be, let's say, next request, and the next request is going to be, let's say, I'm going to just passing that return null. Okay, so now it's going to be returning null. Later on we're going to make some compromisation to go and bring those things up. But I think also if I just, okay, if we just go through the path name, let's say const, let's say the path name gonna be coming is equal to, let's say request dot next URL. Okay, now that could be coming from the next URL, and here we're gonna pass simply just passing the path name. Okay, path name, and if we just log the path name, let's say path name should be passing the, not like that, should be passing the path name. Okay, so that need to be aligned together. If it's not aligned, it will not go and work together. Okay, and over here we're gonna simply just passing that return next response, not like that, should be next response dot next. So it's gonna be just go to provide that. So now let's go to see in our, especially if the middleware is loading or not. So no, it's not, we are not getting any kind of setup. So even especially over here, our middleware even is even command control, so it's gonna be removing that npm run dev. So npm run dev, so we are running our middleware. You see that middleware is compiled together, that we're not receiving anything especially on that. So our middleware setup is not working somehow. Okay, so that could be a problem. Either something is happened to be in my cache or some measurement is pending. I'm gonna just keep it right now. Later on, we're gonna come back to it as soon as possible. But also we can do in a certain point, right? As you can see, we are in the shop, we're in the user, right? So what I will do, I will do create a layout, especially in that shop. Should be layout layout.tsx. So RAFCE should be passing that root layout. Okay, so that root layout gonna be passing, let's say we're gonna passing the children, so it should be children, and the children gonna be coming from that children react dot let's say react node. Okay, so we're gonna pass, simply passing that children. Okay, so now what we can do, we can simply, if we go especially in that let's say we are now in the card, so we can see the card here. So okay, what's wrong here? Okay, I think children name which are mismanipulating children, so that could be like that, children, and here we need to pass the children. Yeah, so now we can see the card. So now what we can do right now, we can check the user, right? We can grab the user from server side and then we can pass the user. So now, especially if we go in the header, did we pass the user? So as you can see, we have the user button, so we can get the auth user, like the user, it could be there, and then we can just passing the value right here. We can check the user especially using that API. So whatever the API configuration which we are using, then it can work in such a way. So what we can do now, instead of like imagine we doesn't have the middleware, right? So now we think the middleware is not there. Later on we're going to come back to the middleware because I think some caching is making problem. So you're going to come back to middleware later on, but imagine it doesn't have the middleware. So we need to set up some kind of immersion, right? So anybody can see your card. It should not be without user, that should be not there. So what we're going to do is that we're going to grab the data. Remember, we have that cookie. So cookie store should be is equal to await, and the await function gonna run that to grab the cookies, right? So that would be coming from the next header, and as a parameter we need to provide that as a asynchronous data. So now we're gonna check what kind of data you're gonna have in the cookie store. If we check, you can see all the details, we have the value for the cookies, we have the value, especially the token value, refresh token value. So we can now fetch everything from there. So now we're gonna destructurize the token from there. So token should be is equal to, let's say, cookie store dot get, and from there we're gonna just get auth token dot value, and then we're gonna just simply check if we receive any token. So right now if we go at there, you can see we are okay, token is getting as implemented as an empty, so should be cookie store dot get, and we are receiving nothing. So we are getting an auth token here, okay, getting undefined, but whenever we are passing that cookie store we are having, so okay, the value is coming here, clerk active. Okay, why? This is really, and I'm going to clear my local storage for a bit, just give me a little minute. Okay, I just remove everything from my local storage. So right now, even I try to, okay, as you can see, I believe right now it's gonna be implementing that. So let's just try to get my token. So let's see. Okay, cookie store token is undefined, but I believe that should be okay. So if means now we doesn't have a token, right? And why it doesn't have a token? Because I'm not logged in. So if there is no token, right, so I'm not logged in, I'm gonna passing some value, just return null. You're gonna see nothing. You can see even we are here in the route of user card, we're in the card, we're in the route, right? So how you can manipulate the structure, how you can customize the token, how you can manipulate the data layer. Now even especially in the card we have a text, right? If we try to grab it, you see we come in the card but we're returning null. We even you have the token, you can see nothing. So now what we can do, we can just passing some a try method here just to provide the data layer. So what we are doing, okay, there is okay, I think I made a mistake here. So okay, I'm going to go with the try catch, especially if in the .env file you can see we have one API endpoint, also a coming with an API route, API URL. So that's the things which we're gonna looking forward to make things work perfectly. So now in the layout, we're gonna go with the try method, right? So let's just create a try method. So in the try method, we'll not go in the catch method, just try method. So const should be the base URL. We need to set up the base URL. So what kind of base URL we are looking? Okay, so That should not be, of course, we need to get the try catch. So in the catch, once we have nothing to provide, I'm going to just pass that value as that fail and providing the error, which is null. Then if we have that, then we're going to set that as a base URL. So should be base URL should be is equal to process.env dot, and that could be coming from the API dot API underscore endpoint. So endpoint, and then we can pass the value. So that could be the endpoint. If that endpoint is doesn't available, we can just simply pass the endpoint over here. Now, of course, we need to make sure that we are passing that endpoint, especially in the real-time segment and others. Okay, so now we can just go and simply go structurize the data layer. Let's say it's gonna be structurizing there. So of course, okay, that should not be the base URL. That would be the base URL. So if we have the base URL, like response fetch, then we're gonna go with the auth profile. We're gonna get the data. You see, cache no store. We're gonna get the data in real time. If it doesn't have response, it's not okay. It's gonna be empty. If we have the user in the response, we're gonna return the user directly. Again, we are now passing the variable in a very systematic way so that we can have entire segment. Now, as you can see, what's the segment which we did earlier here? So everything we are functioning here need to be properly aligned together, right? So let's see how we can align it. You can see those functions. There is a little mistake which I did at the earlier top. As you can see, that entire statement that should be coming at the top, not here. Okay, because okay, I think we can just simply pass that. We can just get a function here, should be assigned, or we can just make that const get user, and that user gonna be, let's say it's gonna be passing that as an asynchronous function, and then we're gonna pass that value here. So this entire statement gonna be coming as get user function. Okay, so that get user function gonna be responsible to provide me the user. Okay, now as you can see over here, it's already popping up there. We can simply get the user according to, let's say, await get user. Okay, so that's the function which gonna provide me the user. Now if there is no user, right, we can do something. If there is no user, redirect. So redirect, of course we need to provide that, I think, the redirect from the coming from the next navigation, and that will be coming from auth sign in. That's it. If there is user, it will be passing the user. So that's how you can send without the middleware. You can handle it. There is a pop-up, but it will return nothing. That's the benefit. Remember last time the Next.js happened to a problem here with the middleware. So that's how you can check your route in a proper way, in a very good manner. So as we have that scenario is set, now we can go directly in our cart page. Now we can start building our client, and later on we're going to talk about the middleware, why it's not set, and we're going to set that together for sure. We're going to start pouring the things, especially for in the client page for the card. So first of all, there should be so many other parameter which can be really be handy whenever we are building this structure. And first and foremost, we need to bring some of the calculated data here. So as you can see, we need to use that. I'm going to just import it first, so everything is only in the store, and then we also need to bring for the user store. We need to get back our user stats hook. Now you can make it more creative by using that special parameter by which you can be really go through individual layer, where you can use that cache component and others. And I'm going to show you whenever you're going to updating the parameter. First of all, as you can see, what we are bringing right here is that we're having the use card store, and from the card store I'm going to make it a little bit more bigger so you can see it. I think that will be fine. Okay, so we have the card items with quantities, remove from card properties, update card item quantity, clear card, sync card from server. And then we have the auth token, especially to get the configuration for the auth setup, and it's going to come in from our user store. We have that show clear dialog, set show clear dialog, and especially if you just go directly on our parameter here, you're going to see what's actually meaning by that. So I'm going to just try to sign in with an account here. So let's see, I'm going to go with an admin, and let's see, that could be no, it's failed. So I think the password that could be there. No, I think I forgot that. Let's say that could be there. Anyway, I really forget, maybe John have here, so let's say John. So John. Okay, let's see if it's there. Login failed, so we can sign up a new user. Let's say I'm going to go with the similar name of John, because I need to show you what we are actually building over here. So let's say okay, John at gmail.com. Okay, done. So okay, registration fail is because maybe something, okay, user already accessed, so means John is already there, but I maybe forget the password. So John at gmail.com. Okay, let's try. No, this is not the password. This is also okay, this is the password. Okay, so now if we go directly over here to oversee the parameter, you can see the card, right? And the clear cut, the dialog which gonna work if you just copy paste it, you see it can clear the entire card segment. So you're gonna go prefetch that data layer to be building a startup situation. Then we have the checking a route and each checking route, so that's gonna be a boolean value. So first of all, we also gonna implement the router. Now what we're gonna do, we're gonna create an use effect parameter here right now to call the data layer. So that would be our use effect. And on that use effect, what we're gonna do is that const initialize. So that would be a value here, initialize card, and that would be an asynchronous function here. So let's just build that function. Okay, that should be not the plus icon but the equal. And initialize icon, if we have the auth token, only then what we're gonna do, we're gonna make the try catch, right? If we doesn't have the auth token, it's just gonna be that we doesn't have the user. So let's say we're gonna pass that should be the console.error. So error, and here it should be the fail to sync card from server. So whatever data is there, we will sync it with the server. So now let's say await. Okay, not the award icon, await, and that should be, let's say, sync card server. Not why is coming sync card server, and we're gonna pass that auth token. And so that should be the auth token parameter. I think the auth token parameter not required, we just sync the server, and that should be visualizing whenever the auth token and sync occurred from server gonna be changing, it's gonna prefetch. So right now, as you can see, whenever we are logged in, we will find that we have 3 products in the card. It's because happening for that syncing the server. So now what we're gonna do, we need to call that function. So initialize, not initialize, let's say it should be ini, okay, initialize cal server, and that's it, that will go. So there is no loading, no other setup, just a plain scenario. And there could be another positioning where we're gonna also calculate the total item for the card product, which gonna be calculate subtotal, and then return from the card items with quantities. And as you can see, every single attachment is right there in user use store. So you can see whatever the value parameter which we are already passing, and you can find everything in the repo, all the code, all the items. So just go tune up something, that could be a little bit haji-pudgy if we're just going to explain everything time to time. So it takes a little bit time to explore so many parameter what we explaining there itself. Now after that, there will be another parameter which going to be calculate the total price. So the subtotal is already getting the calculate subtotal. So that's the function which grabbing our subtotal value, and then we're getting the shipping cost. Right now we are providing that if subtotal is small bigger than 100, then a 0. If not, then so below $15 we are putting that like below $100 we are putting $15 as a shipping cost. If it's more than $100 we are putting that 0. Also the text going to be providing that. Now what we are doing, especially for the new build for in the turbo repo, we all are passing that one from the .env, and another we are passing from our database. We are manipulating that too. First, if we have that in the .env, those credentials, it's gonna take that. So the design is like that. First it's gonna look forward to our database. If the response is coming in empty value, then it's gonna set from the env. If it's not there, then it's gonna coming on the structure. So we are holding it in a very, very different way. But you can also implement if you're looking forward to implement here. That's up to you. But for me, I'll just go with the first built-in version. So you can change it later on. You can update your code. Now we're gonna also pass another parameter, which gonna be, let's say we need to have the to function, which is handle remove item. So I'm gonna call that function. Let's say I'm gonna bring that at the top. So there's the function, and we need to import the toast from the sooner. So now what actually we're doing, handle remove item is actually getting that asynchronous function, which is passing that item ID as the string, and we are removing the item, and also we are removing from card. It's gonna remove from our local storage. It's also gonna remove from our server, like the database. So this all things gonna be implementing using that remove from card. If you just go there, and if you can find it, that remove from card is doing so many things. So let's say remove from card. So as you can see, whenever we are calling the remove from card, we're getting that product ID as the parameter of the props. Then we're checking the auth from the user store get state. If there is no auth authentication required, then set loading is true. Then we're trying to remove it from the card API. And after getting the response, we remove it from card, and you are passing that auth token and the product ID. And that, as you can see, this everything is happening in real time. So if you're digging down, you're gonna find a better solution on that. So this is how we are gonna removing from the both parameter and also handle quantity change. That's just a simple function which gonna handling in both sides. If new quantity is bigger than 1, then await handle remove item return, and then we are also await try item quantity. We're passing the item, passing the new quantity, also passing the toast message that quantity updated, and if there is error, we are passing the error so user can understand that why he can't add product in the cart. Now after that, there should be two separate value again, which we need to pass it right here. One is that handle clear card, which gonna also pass that set show clear dialog true. Remember how we just gonna show the clear card. Once we do that, that icon gonna, that model gonna be true. And also the confirm a clear card. Whenever you're gonna click on that, it's gonna do the clear card. It's gonna close the model. It's gonna also passing a toast model card clear. And if there is an error, it's gonna passing error for us. Then there is another portion which is called the checkout, right? Now this is the function which gonna do a lot of parameter. As you can see, set is checking out should be true, and if there is no auth token, you see you must be logged in to place an order. Set checkout should be false. It's gonna return from there. And then if everything is okay, we're gonna redirect to the user.checkout, and also the passing a message redirecting to checkout. If there is error, passing the error, then is set checkout gonna be false. So as you can see, if we just go proceed to checkout, you see that is where it's redirecting, and after that is coming there in the checkout segment. So this is how we are gonna building this structure. Anyway, let's go there. So right now, what we're gonna do, we can also make a loading parameter, right? If is loading is true, right? Is loading is true, and from there we're gonna return something. Let's say we're gonna return a container. So container, and in the container just pass the loading, right? Now I'm gonna providing the null check value, should be passing like that, and if we pass that, you should be able to see the loading parameter. No more loading. Okay, why? So it's loading. We are passing the set is loading. Okay, it's loading is true, but why it's not? Okay, I need to close that first. Okay, in the page we have our page client. So right now, whenever we are is loading parameter is done, let's go see what's the actual value. It's loading. Okay, it's loading is true. So okay, no need to provide the null value. It should be like that. So now it's loading is true, right? So we didn't make that set loading as false yet, so it's now gonna be true setup, so that it can be really it will not that much good. So as you can see, every time the loading gonna happen till so if you can come over here, okay, that's the initializing that setup. From there you can see, and after after the checking up the situation, right, if the data is available, you're gonna just make that set is loading should be as false. So after just checking the data together itself, we can just making that loading as a false value. You can see, so it's gonna take a bit of time to load the data from the server, then the loading gonna be fine, and it's gonna remove the instances. So now what we're gonna do, whenever we are showcasing the loading, now you can make the data layer as you are looking forward to. I'm gonna just go with a simple constructive design here that could be really representing the skeleton here. You can create the skeleton wherever you are looking forward to. I'm gonna just keep it like here, because right now it's not doesn't matter, because you know how to design those portion. So let's see what I'm missing. I think I was missing something. Okay, yeah, I was missing that. So now what is happening here, you can now create the skeleton instead of keeping it right here. Remember, we have one skeleton file. So I can copy this entire portion here and over in the skeleton. So in the components common, where is our skeleton? We can pass that. Let's say card skeleton.tsx rafce. So over here, we're gonna pass the card entire skeleton. So now we can import the skeleton from the skeleton. And after that, at the top, we also need to import that container. So instead of passing that lots of data, we can simply pass that card skeleton. That could bring a lot of things to be clear on that. If I just now putting the null value, you can see what the skeleton look like. So it's just an abbreviation of how the card gonna be look like. That's what we are passing right there. Now when everything is in places, so now we can just remove the condition here. Okay, remove that, and also we can just pass simply like that. So now we can, our card like the page of the card scenario is done, and then we should be having another condition is that which gonna be if the length is 0, right? And as you can see, we are taking it globally before the card page client is just passing there, so that it can be highly valuable, it can be highly manageable. Now those kind of text, as still if you're building such a long way with me, so I really appreciate that. So you know how to build that by so far, so I want your creativity to go by so far so that you can do something better, especially on that scenario. Now what actually we are building right here, okay, so the length is, I'm gonna just pass that not equal to 0, so we can see what actually you're passing, that your card is empty. You may check out all available products and buy some in the shop, and then return to shop, and also high quality selection, affordable prices, express shipping. So just an idea when the cart is empty, that is the design which we have been built up here. So what I recommend, you go through your creativity to do something better aligned, and which can be really important to go and make things in a very beautiful fashion. So now what we need to do, especially here, we need to get to bring back our, let's say it gonna be I need to pass that as the breadcrumb, so should be breadcrumb. So, and did we have the breadcrumb? So let's say page breadcrumb. No, it doesn't have a breadcrumb. So the breadcrumb, how it's gonna be making things done is that okay, why I close that? It should be keep it open. So in the breadcrumb, as you can see, we are passing lots of data value here. So this is the card from where it's coming. We can go back to the home, and then we have the share icon, all the icon property and others. That's how it's gonna work. So first of all, let's go create a breadcrumb. So especially it should be coming as in the common. So I'm gonna call the name of that. Let's say it should be pages breadcrumb or page breadcrumb. Page breadcrumb.tsx rfce. So that would be the pages structure of the breadcrumb, so that we can really be okay, should be page breadcrumb. Okay, so now in the page breadcrumb, there should be some of the condition here. We need to provide so many data right here. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just define the value right here. So those kind of data we need to implement right here. So let's go, and y is coming, okay, should be something like that. And what actually we are doing, first of all, as you can see in the breadcrumb, that the item should be, so we can pass the item as an array property. We're gonna passing the current page, which gonna be card. We're gonna also make the show social share, which gonna be true, and share data. You can see how we can share the data in between of the pages. So that's how it's gonna be started. You can see it's gonna be copied, and every time you just pass the link, and you can see also check my card 3 items. So that's the property which we are calling with that property value. Now let's go back in the breadcrumb, where we're gonna do and make things done in a very better way. And the breadcrumb should have some of the interfaces, which we will just declare right here. And one interface is that coming with the breadcrumb item, which is going to be label and href, and then also going to be coming as the breadcrumb props, which going to items coming as the breadcrumb item, which is going to label and href. Current page going to be string, show social icon should be the boolean value, shared data coming as title, text, and URL. And the similar parameter of there, where we are just declaring that we can just simply pass that. It's going to be coming that as the react dot should be coming of that page breadcrumb. Okay, react dot okay, should be fc, and over here we need to provide that. So it should be coming paid breadcrumbs. And as we are indicating the parameter right now, so what we can do, we can manually pass that. We can pass the items, we can pass the current page, we can pass the show social share, and which gonna be by default as an false value. So false value, and then we're going to also pass that share data, right? So this is the actual accumulated data which we are having by so far, and those data going to be coming directly on that instances. Now in the breadcrumb, what we can pass is that, so when we are having the item, we can just simply go with that shareable data. It will be a simple function by which we can share the data. So as you can see, there we are just, okay, where we are passing that. I think I didn't copy the entire thing. So should be passing here. So what actually we're doing, also clicking on the share data, you see first of all the share data should be an empty, and then we are passing that Facebook share encoded Facebook link. You can pass your Facebook link, you can pass your Twitter link, and you can pass your Instagram link, and once you did that, should be success gonna be true. Right now, as you can see in the live, we're just, I think we were keeping that. So okay, that should be there. If we just click on Facebook, you see it automatically open the Facebook. If you click on Twitter, it will automatically open the Twitter with your particular account. And if you click on the Instagram, so Instagram is not implemented yet, so that is not doing the things. So as you can see, Instagram, you can do direct URL string and others. So that's how we are setting those things done. So this is basically coming on the platform scenario to open the app, especially within your structure layer. Then now over here, what we're gonna do, we're gonna have two structure, right? So the structure which we have been seeing there, that could be coming up to valid parameter. So first and foremost, so there should be an one div, then should be another div, and that div gonna contain that parameter of a 2, which you're gonna provide the value. So this is the first entire statement which you're gonna be providing the old structurable layer. So I'm gonna pass the CSS here, which gonna be background color white. You can just simply pass that, let's say baby shop white. That's up to you. You can go with your own defined color. So right now that could be, as you can see, that could be an delighted method. So now also passing that background color is coming with that. Okay, I think one thing which could be done in a better way, that I'm going to provide that some of the class name padding y should be 8, so that the gap it would be in between, and we can see those structurable layer is there. And instead of that div, we're gonna simply pass that a container here, so that should be the container, so that it could be at the middle. Right now, let's go in the page breadcrumb, and over here for the first instances, so this is gonna be a containing of that's the value here. Flex item should be center, justify should be between, and so the first one gonna be rendering. So we're gonna pass that simply an href, which is gonna be coming as a link, and we're gonna pass that our home icon from the Lucid React, and whenever we're gonna href on that, passing directly at the home, so that's gonna bring back the home here. And you can pass the class name within 4, height should be 4 to make it smaller. And then after those link, we're gonna also pass that, let's say it's gonna be dynamic link here, so that will parameter whatever the link we are passing there. So now what we're gonna do, items dot, and we're gonna pass a map function here, and every single thing gonna be coming as an item and index, and from there we're gonna simply return the value. Let's say we can simply pass that react dot a fragment, and in the fragment we can pass an span tag, which gonna be like that, and the fragment gonna be coming need to be coming to an index, which need to be passing to be a valid key. And okay, after the index parameter we have the span tag, and after span, so we're gonna simply pass that, let's say item dot, if href is available, then we're gonna pass something. If it's not available, then we're gonna pass something. If it's not available, we are just simply gonna pass that span, let's say span, and the span tag gonna be contain that item dot, label. So that's gonna be there. And now if there is the href is available, then we're gonna pass that link parameter, and that link also going to be, let's say, passing that item dot label, but here it's gonna be containing as an href parameter. So href should be item dot href, so that we should be able to see the name, right? And after any like, and also for that one, we're gonna pass the class name, and the class name gonna be, let's say, once we hover the text should be gray up 700, and then transition should be the colors, or you can just simply make that over effect. So right now we can't see the card yet. You can see this color gonna be combining together, so this is not coming yet. So let's see what's actually happening right now. That should be adapting. So why is not showing? So this is the manipulation which we did right now. Okay, so if it's not coming, so this is the condition once the dynamic link gonna be coming, like we have the multiple link instance, and then another link gonna be coming as the current page. So that's gonna handling the current parameter. The span should be like that. So this is the span which we are passing that, then should be another span, and here we're gonna pass that current page. So whatever the current page we have, we are just gonna passing that. With the class name, text should be gray of 700, and font should be, let's say, media. Okay, so now in between, if we are passing any of the other parameter directly, it can, like if we are going through, like if we have the shopping, right? Let's see if I think it's not implemented yet. So if we go over here in the profile, no, not every pages has that, so that's why it's not showing there right in the card. So now what we can do, especially on there, as you can see, it's not coming there properly. So put a class name, gonna be flex, item should be center. I'm gonna provide a gap of 2, and text should be extra small, and also text should be, let's say it's gonna be gray of 500. Okay, that's it. So now our one part of the parameter which we are trying to create is done, and the next one is that which gonna coming according to the social effect or social. As you can see, we can pass that linked icon, we can also pass the button, and then we will need to import that Instagram icon. After that, Twitter icon, which is right now calling the X, and also gonna be a Facebook icon. Now you can manually, or you can do so many customization, you can manipulate that. When you see the copy to clipboard, if you click in the Twitter, it will automatically open the Twitter, not right here. If we click on the Twitter, it's gonna open the Twitter app. If we click on the Facebook, it will open the Facebook app. That's how it's gonna structurally work. So what you're passing that, if we have the show social share, if we like make that as a false value, it's not gonna show the social parameter. So that's how whenever we are calling the breadcrumb, we can now manually manipulate that setup and can do in a better design pattern. So now as we have the breadcrumb, after the page breadcrumb, we're gonna pass another div here. We're gonna pass an h1 tag, which is gonna pass simply the card, right? And put a class name margin bottom of 8. So let's provide a gap. And now for the h1 tag, put a class name, text should be 4XL, and font should be, let's say, bold, and also text should be Babymart shop black, and let's say I'm gonna also make that margin bottom of 2. Okay, so that is the card which we are looking forward right here. And after the card, we should be happen to have the two separate value, right? The two separate is that one, like after the div, we need to be happen to be providing a div which gonna contain two separate portion. One div, and that div which gonna contain the parameter of that, let's say, should be card items section, right? That should be one section, and then another section should be, let's say, it should be card totals, and that's also going to be another div. So these two sections need to be aligned together to show the data entirely. Yes, I did. Come on, I'm going to do it again. This time I'm going to hit. I told you we picked that kid up, your delivery like we had to do. It was cargo. You guys go south. A lot of people don't know this, but now This is a fantastic look. Now we're going to bring the products right here. So in the card items, we will just simultaneously do the same thing what we did in the top. So you're going to take a div over here. We're going to just make that card items with quantities. If that is there, then we're going to map through it, and every single map should be passing that a card item. And over on that card item, which need to be passing like providing a return over here, and that return gonna be, let's say first we're gonna make that as for the mobile layout, and that should be a div, or we can just pass that a products. Okay, so for the key value here, the key should be a card product, card item, and that should be card item dot product dot id. So that should be the card value here. So right now we can see the three product is available, and that three product gonna be matched with that three product because we are handling the similar data structure, right? Now, as we are having the product, so now we can provide all the product data together. So what I'm going to do itself here at the top. So let's just put a class name. I'm going to provide a space y, which going to be coming as the 4. So instead of no need to provide that, let's say flex column, then gap 4, we can just provide that space y4. And then for the that's the positioning here for the div here, we can just simply make that we will just provide a little bit of colorful design here so that it can be look so different. So what we're doing, we're passing a border gray of 100, and as you can see, this is right there, but it's not showing that much. So if I just make of 800, that time also no, it's not showing at all. Okay, border gray rounded LG. Okay, let's see. LG border is 0, so we are just the border is coming for, let's say if we put 1, we can see that. So the border is only for the smaller screen. Now this is gonna be perfectly aligned for the mobile devices. So what I'm gonna do, so once we are coming in the mobile devices, we're gonna come back later on for the mobile devices. So first of all, we're gonna just go especially for the desktop devices, right? So that should be, let's say, desktop layout for the card product. The desktop layout, first it's gonna be coming that product info. So in the product info, let's say I'm gonna bring that. So first it's gonna be coming a div here, then it's gonna be coming a link, and after the link itself, we're gonna provide another div here. So another div, and on the div we're gonna pass that card item dot product dot if the image is there, and then we're gonna pass the image. So should be coming an image from the next image, and if the image is not there, we're gonna pass simply gonna pass a div here. Now the image tag gonna be taking the proper, let's say the source should be card item, card item, let's say card item dot product dot image. Okay, and for that instances we need to provide the alt parameter also that should be passing that card item product dot name, so we know which product is coming accordingly. And also you're going to make that the image should be filled and the class name should be object that should be passing at as cover, right? Not contain but cover. Now if the image is not available, what we want to do, we're going to pass a simple shopping cart icon, and that cart icon I'm going to just pouring the style here a bit, so that could be similar of this parameter. Okay, so from here like that. No. Okay, what we're missing? I think I removed one of that key here. Okay, should be something like that. Okay, now what's the error here? We're gonna find the link. We need to provide that href for the link, and for the href we will use the backtick right here. So the backtick gonna be passing that, it's gonna pass that product product / and on that / we're gonna pass that, let's say should be card item dot product dot id. So that's where it's gonna routing us back. So we're supposed to get, after loading the data itself, we're supposed to get the product right here, and if there is no error, okay, you can see the image is so much bigger, which should not. So what we're gonna do, especially here for the images parameter, after the link we're going to put a class name which going to be, I'm going to make it as a relative, and which should be 20, and maximum height should be 20, and I'm going to provide a background color gray of 100. And after that, rounded should be LG, overflow should be hidden, and also flex shrink should be not flex shrink, just I think they named the property of the shrink as 0. And then we also going to be making that whenever you're going to hover scale of 105, and you're going to pass that hover effect. That's it. So now as you can see on the hover, okay, it's getting to the single page. Did we create the single page? No. But how the data is coming? that is really cool. Did it create the single page? I think so, otherwise it should not go. Yeah, we have the product. Yeah, we created. Okay, that's my bad, I forgot. It's a long of the project, so I really forgot. And still you're with me, please do like the video and also subscribe the channel if you didn't do it yet. And okay, so after that we are having the hover effect and other parameters. So after that link itself, once the link is done, we're gonna have another div, right? On that div we're gonna have another link which gonna provide the name of that parameter. So h3, that should be coming, let's say card item dot product dot name. Okay, and the similar, that link gonna make the same href which we are passing right here. So if we go at the below layer here, we can simply pass the href. Okay, there is extra one more, and as you can see, where is the name? We are not seeing anything right now. So the product cards parameter and the naming parameter, okay, we're not having anything. We're going to provide a class name here, should be flex, item should be center. We're going to provide a gap of 3. So as you can see right now, we have the product quantity here, and the link I'm going to keep it as it is for the h3, for h3 class, not the class but class name. We're going to make it the font of a medium, and text should be gray of 900. You can use the default color value if you wanted to. Margin bottom is 1, line clamp should be 2, maximum 2 of the line, and hover text should be, let's say, baby shop sky, and we're gonna pass that height. We're gonna pass that especially on that hover effect. Okay, so once we are clicking on that, and once we click, it's gonna do the same thing, bringing back to in the smaller screen. So now this is the combination here for the link. After that link here, we're gonna also happen to, let's say it's gonna be a remove button. So remove button, and on the remove button we should be having a div, and there we're gonna pass the button, and that button gonna say it's gonna be passing that trash to icon, and after that it's gonna say the word remove. So that's what we are looking for. You can see the remove button. So now this button should be look like that. We're gonna fix that to make that align together. And also we need to provide some of the color specification for the button. So let's say we're gonna put a class name on that. I'm gonna make it a flex, item should be center, and should be, let's say I'm gonna just make that, I'm gonna provide a gap of 3, so that could be stay together. For the button, I think that really needed, no, so because we doesn't have that. We doesn't have the gap. So I'm gonna just put the button all together. No need to have that div, right? And for the button here, I'm gonna provide a variant which gonna be a ghost. And then we also need to be past that. Let's say the size should be a small size. And then once we're gonna make that on click event over here, we're gonna simply pass that. It should be handling on that handle remove item, and here we're going to pass that, let's say card item product dot id. So according to that id, it's going to remove. And also we need to pass the button some of the class name. The text should be red of 200, red of 500, so that could be good. And then hover text should be red of 600. And after that we're gonna let's say hover bg should be rate of 50, so that a little bit background notation here. Padding should be 0, height should be auto, and text should be extra small, and we're gonna pass that over effect right now. So that would be similar that right now we can make the padding, instead of padding 0, padding 1 should be good on there, so that the button could be looks amazing. Right now, what we need to do is that, especially for this one, see the trash icon not is coming bigger and not side by side. So we need to pull that trigger to make it together. So right now, what I want to do, this is our button, right? And also this is the div which containing the button and others, right? So now what we need to do, this is the div here which containing the image. This is the div like image and the text. So now which containing the image and text, we need to provide some of the class name right here. With the class name, LG should be call span of 6 or LG should be call span of 6. We're going to make it a flex, item should be center, and gap should be less. I'm going to provide a gap of 4, so that you can see is coming side by side, right? And the things that it should not be coming side by side because we are not providing any other parameter. And I think so in the desktop layout, as we are providing the 6, so this is the value here which need to be implemented. So here we're going to pass that hidden LG grid, and LG should be grid of columns of 12, gap 4, item center, padding y6, border b, border gray 100. So this is the combination, you see. And if we click any of the product, you see it's gonna be removing. Okay, so even you come here, I think in real time, if this is the product coming from there, it should be removed also. I don't know if it's connect. Yeah, it's connecting at live, so it's also removing from there. Now, as we have that, we got our card items, we got our product information, right? So as we happen to get that product information, this is our time to bring so many other parameter, like it's gonna bring the price, it's gonna bring the quantity, and also it's gonna bring up another value which gonna be coming as the subtotal. This is subtotal. So these three things need to be coming together. For the price, what we need to do to provide the price itself, so I'm going to provide a div, and then we're going to just make that, let's say we should be coming on that price formatter here, and on that formatter we will provide the value here. So the amount should be card item dot product dot price. Okay, that should be the amount. And also for their class name, LG should be call span as 2, so should be call span as 2. And after that, the text should be center aligned, and also we can provide some of the class name here, and the class name which gonna contradict on that, we're gonna provide that text should be base, font should be medium, so the font should be medium, and also we're gonna provide that text of gray of let's say we're gonna keep it as 900, or you can provide the black color. So now we have the color. So this is the standard price, the similar pattern which you're following to. Now we need to have the quantity button here to show the other details, right? So to do the quantity button, we're going to go over here. Either you can bring back the quantity statement here. So you can see we have a quantity, I think, or we can just simply bring that. Okay, we can simply create those three statements. So there should be one div which is going to be happen to be a button. Like we can just see the structure. This is the button minus one item and the plus icon. So let's say I'm going to just provide that should be the minus, right? And here after the minus there should be, let's say there should be a p tag which is going to be having a quantity, right? And then should be another div which is going to be happen to be have the price. So the plus icon, so this is gonna be together the three pattern right here. So I'm gonna put a class name LG should be call span of 2, so that's what we are believing on that. Flex justifies should be center. So right now you can see the three value together is just putting on the line to having a very good standard, but we need to make things better. We need to fill things up for having some better adjustment, right? Now, what we can do is that instead of providing those, we can actually mapping through over another div here so that we can pass that. And for the div, we're going to put a class name, flex, item should be center. We're going to provide a border should be gray of 300. And then also we're going to provide that, let's say rounded should be LG, overflow should be hidden. You can do that in the top layer or you can do it right here. It doesn't matter at all. Now what I'm going to do, first of all, I'm going to take, instead of the div right here, I'm going to take a button, right? That will do all the purposes. Now in the button, there should be a minus icon here, and that minus icon gonna do the player things, whatever we're looking forward, which should be 4, height should be 4. So now you can see the button is right there. Now the button should be the variant of, let's say the variant, we're gonna provide a variant of ghost variant. And then we're going to make the size of the small size. And also whenever we're going to on click on the particular button, what we are going to do is that we're going to just simply run a function which is going to be handle change quantity. Not like that, handle change quantity. Not why is checkout is coming, should be handle quantity change. And over here you're going to pass that card item dot product dot id. That should be the id where it can handle over there. And then the card item dot quantity, we're going to just -1 because it's gonna minusing the value over there, right? And also for the button itself, we can provide some of the class name, which is going to be height of 10. We're going to provide a width of 10. And then we're going to also provide a padding should be 0. And then we're going to make that, let's say hover should be bj of gray of 50. And then not like that, gray of 50. And we're going to make that border should be 0. And also rounded should be none. So this is our button structure right now, and you can see this is not so good pattern what we are looking forward to. And especially for the div, you can either keep it as div or you can put the plain value which you're gonna have. So this is the quantity structure which you're looking forward to, little bit bigger than as usual. What we are doing, we're providing height 10, width like that. And as you can see, if we put the quantity say it should be 200, you can see it's structuring over there, so it could not be more than 200 on like so. So now what we're gonna do, we're gonna just copy the previous button from there, and over in the div where we are gonna be passing there, we're gonna pass that instead of minus should be the plus icon here. So hit save, you can see the icon and install and the quantity change. What we're gonna do, instead of passing that minus, we're gonna just passing to have the icon, have the item as the plus item. Now if you go and add more, you can see whenever we click, you can see that's what we are actually getting, that we can minus the value, we can change the quantity there. Now you can do some more parameter. You can, you know, if the quantity is minus value, it's gonna remove the item from there. Now we can do to add some more products here. So we can just go simultaneously adding some more product. Now it's adding to the cart. We have the entire cart statement, which looks so good. You see smaller screen still not showing nothing, but we're gonna go manipulate and provide that data. Now after the parameter, we should be provide one subtotal value here, which gonna be like that, which gonna be passing that subtotal value, getting the card item dot price, product dot price into card item dot quantity, which gonna bring back our subtotal parameter. So if it's 2 product, if I make 3, the quantity gonna be changing, making 45. You can, like whenever we are clicking on that, you can pass a loading, and you know that product should be freeze till that loading. Now if you can click multiple times, you know, so you can freeze that till it's updated. It's up to you. I'm gonna keep that feature, whatever is right there, that looks perfect for me. So now what we can do as we are passing there, so this is the div here, then after the div here we should be having some cart actions, right? That action's gonna be implementing like continue shopping, clear cart, like so. So first it should be a link, and on that link should be passing a button. On the button gonna be, let's say it's gonna be passing that arrow left icon, so arrow left, and here at the button passing that continue shopping, right? Continue shopping. Link should be passing an href parameter, which gonna be passing that shop. Okay, so now it should be coming at the below. You can see the continue shopping parameter. Now over here we're gonna make that as a flex. Flex should be the column proportion, by default, and smaller screen fact should be raw, and then also justify should be between, and item should be stretch, and then we're going to make a small should be item should be center, and also we're going to provide a gap of 3, and then margin top should be 8. I think that would be fine, and padding top should be, let's say, 6, and also should be border should be top, and note the till should be top, border T, and we're going to provide a border of gray of 200. Okay, not like that. Okay, just border gray of 200. That's it. So now it should be implementing the scenario. I think yeah, it's coming. Not yet. Why it didn't come yet? This is the structurable data. It should okay, you can see the running prettier formatting, so I think there is something is running which is not good to go. So I'm going to just provide it a little bit time while it's configuring the data layer to be go on. Sometimes it can happen once the caching is going on. If you can just simply make the reload the window, what I did here, then it will automatically fix the error for you people. Now, what's actually we're doing, we are making that continue shopping button. So the button itself needs to be aligned together. We're going to make the variant. The variant should be, let's say, I'm going to provide the variant of outline. It doesn't matter about that second bracket, okay? Either without second bracket it will work, but as it's coming, you know, just keep it. It will not make any problem for you. So it should be algae. Now after that, put a class name which should be full, and asm skin which should be, let's say, it should be auto, and also rounded should be full, and the padding X should be 8. So that is the button what you're looking forward to. Now this is the one button which we are having, which gonna be passing with the link, and after the link we're gonna having another button, right? That button gonna pass that clear cart, so that will especially clear our entire cart. The same variant we're going to use that, so the variant should be outline, and then we're going to also make the size should be LG screen size. So you can see there's a summing coming over there. Then we're going to simply pass that two separate parameter. On click is function is going on, we're going to simply make that handle clear cart, which going to open the model. Right now it will do nothing because we didn't pass the model to open, right? So this is the value where we are passing and compassing all together. Now, as you can see, we need to provide a calculation layer, like how the card value should be passing through. So the calculator, so the calculation value, as you can see, that's the value which going to be passing that card total, subtotal, shipping, tax, and your quality, you qualify for free shipping or not, total item, proceed to checkout, and little masses over there. So we're gonna just to be implementing this method. So first of all, we're going to happen to be, let's say, a div here, then coming an h2 button should be cart totals. So that would be the value here. You can see this is right there. And for this one, what I'm going to put a class name LG devices should be, let's say, call span of 1. So this is going to be entire one span parameter. And then actually instead of 2, I think you can also make it within the one statement here. You can see we are not needing that particular parameter to go on. You know, it's just an h2 tag. So what we can do, put a class name text should be Excel, font should be bold, and text should be gray of 900. You can put any other text, and margin bottom should be 6. Now, as the coming call span of that parameter, BJ should be baby shop white color is there. Then you're going to provide a let's say rounded of 2 axle, which is going to be like before, and I think we can provide a border gray of 100, shadow SM. I think till shadow, that is fine. Also, we're gonna provide I think the padding, yeah, padding, we're gonna provide that. And we're going to provide is as sticky, and top should be 4, not 4, but let's say I'm going to provide a 32 of top. Let's say what it's gonna no, it's not handling that, or I think no need that sticky parameter. Just provide or pass the padding value, and height should be feet. So whatever the height we are passing, that height it will contain. Now this is the parameter for the totals, like the cart totals, and after that we're going to have a div. And then we're going to have another div. We're going to have an span tag, which going to say subtotal value, right? Subtotal. And after the subtotal, we're going to pass that price formatter here. In the price formatter, we're going to provide that amount, which is going to be passing that calculate subtotal function. And that's going to take the class name text as a base. So the text should be base. font should be medium, and then we're gonna also passing that, let's say we're gonna also pass that text of gray of 900. You can just make the black color. You can see that's the subtotal value, but we need to make something better aligned. So the first itself, the first one over here at the top, we're going to put a class name space y should be 4. So we're going to provide a gap in between, or I think I'm going to make things smaller here so that you can see it properly. So that's going to be like that, a little bit smaller. Now, after that, in the span tag, what we're going to do, you're going to provide a class name. In the span tag should be gray of 600. Okay, that should be the text here. And this div itself, put a class name of flex. I'm going to provide, let's say, flex item should be center, justify should be between, so that it can be look better. Padding y should be 2, providing a gap. If you see the background color, you can see that padding is working perfectly. And after that, the span parameter, so I think this is looks cool. So not any problem at all. I think that could be similar of the subtotal value here, and okay, yeah, that's good. So now this is the similar parameter and similar pattern is coming for the other parameter. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna copy that. So this is our first parameter where we are passing the subtotal. Then we're gonna pass our, let's say it's gonna be coming as the shipping. If it's more than 500, we're providing the free shipping, and after the shipping we should be passing to separate parameter also. So this is the div here. After this div, we're gonna have to move div itself. So one div is gonna coming with the text amount. We're gonna be calculate subtotal into that's the value which the text amount which we provide 0.8. So you can check at the top, either you can provide the key if you're looking for what you see the subtotal. So that's, you can like just keep you can provide a value, like you can just simply go here, let's say cons text underscore text rate. So now what you can do, you can simply pass the text rate instead of like that. You can simply go with the text rate, and the similar pattern it can pass by here also. Instead of directly putting the static value, you can simply pass the text rate. That's it. That's how you can do work in a very good fashion. Now if the calculate for the calculate subtotal when it's more than 100, like if I make it 1000, you see that value it will not see, it not be seen. So same thing you can do, you can put in a variable, or either you can go with your .env in the client. You can provide that here also. That would be fine. That would be absolutely perfect. But I'm going to go with that. It's up to you how you, so I'm keeping the room for your creativity to shine. Now after that div here, so this is the div. So after the div, we're gonna have that separator. Okay, separator gonna be coming from UI, which gonna be coming a class name. Margin my should be 4, so that one line should be aligned there. And after the separator, we're gonna be coming, let's say it should be passing that another div, similar pattern, right? So if we just copy this portion, now this portion, let's say I'm gonna show you one thing here. If I copy this one, so let's say this the div which gonna containing the entire parameter. Now we see this coming up the text. Instead of text, we're gonna provide that total, right? Total amount, or you can just simply go with the value. And here, instead of this one, what we're gonna do, we're gonna simply pass the total value. So calculate total, right? So now it's gonna pass the total value. You see this adding this value here and just getting 637, right? So now after that to div here, what we need to do, we need to have a button which gonna happen to be, let's say that would be the two button. It's gonna coming with the like coming with the parameter of if checking out. So if there is a checking out, gonna be passing something. If there is no checking out, should be proceed to checkout. So now right now you're gonna see that the proceed to checkout button is right there because it's not checking out, right? So if there is the checking out is going on, we are going to do some of the parameter which you're gonna say that creating order. If I just make that in you can see creating order, that loader gonna be go by. And for the button here, we're going to provide a size, not like that. For the button, we're going to provide the size. So the size should be LG size. And after that, we also gonna be on click, we're gonna make that handle checkout. So that's gonna be working on that. And the disable, it's gonna be disable when we are going to passing that, let's say is checking out is there, if that one is coming there, or if we have that, let's say card item with quantities is a dot length is equal to 0, means there is no item to be calculated, right? That time it's gonna be 0. And what we're gonna do, we're gonna provide some of the class name for it. Okay, that's already providing that, so remove that. So the class name, which should be full, margin top is 4, and instead of passing that black, you can simply use that baby shop black, and also similar of that, you can use that baby shop white. Okay, that could be very good. And rounded full, and padding white 3, font medium, disable opacity of 500, disable cursor not allowed. So this how it's gonna render. You can see it's getting off the 404 page because it doesn't have the checkout page. Later on we're going to implement that. And after the button itself, we can also happen to be providing another div here, which just going to be having that secure checkout SSL encrypted, right? So now we doesn't have the smaller screen setup for the card product, right? So we have the bigger screen product, but we doesn't have for the mobile devices. Remember, we did it before, and we go with the layout for the desktop design, right? So over here, the similar fashion, it could be aligned together. As you can see, the card items which we are landing over here, that should be the mobile layout. Now what actually happened to be in the mobile layout, right? I'm copy pasting, but it doesn't mean there is nothing. I'm going to show you what actually we are dealing here. So first of all, first and foremost, what actually we're building, as you can see in the mobile layout, we are providing a block in the smaller screen LG. It's gonna be hidden. Everything we're keeping in flex start motion. We have 4. Now we are providing the image, the similar image, the link parameter which we did before. Then we are passing the details and flex 1 mean weight 0. And here we are passing that of the name, like the product name, and later on we are providing the price and also the other formation. We are providing the subtotal because we are providing that total value in 3 separate canonical value. And after that, we're also putting that icon, the similar parameter which we did before. Then we happen to be get that subtotal and a remove button. And now this function, it's gonna work similar the way it's supposed to be. It's gonna work similar parameter. You can remove the product, and so once you remove, you can run a loader if you wanted to. So that's up to you and the way you are looking forward to. Now what we need to do is that, remember, we have that handle checkout. If we go like that, handle checkout function. So this is the function which are going to do so many other parameters. You see, if there is no token, you must log in router the push, you are going to be user checkout. We are not happen to get any checkout page, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a new page called checkout page.tsx rfce. That should be checkout page. So let's just bring back to checkout. Now whenever we're gonna just directly push that value, push it to checkout, we are now coming here in the checkout screen. So whatever we're gonna do right now, we need to go and fix things in our checkout screen because cart is okay. Now there is one thing is pending in the cart, right? Not okay yet, because in the cart, once we are making the things to make the clear cart, nothing is showing, right? And because we need to get the model for the clear cart confirmation model. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna come at the bottom of the cart parameter. It's a big there, so you can remove certain position if you're looking forward to here. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna pass that let's say clear cart. So it should be clear cart confirmation model. Okay, I'm gonna pass an alert. That should be alert dialog here from the UI alert, and over here I'm gonna make that alert dialog, let's say it's gonna be content. Okay, so that would be content, and in the content I'm gonna make that alert dialog header, right? And on that header, I'm going to provide that, let's say, should be alert dialog title. So the title would be, let's say, clear cart, right? Now, even though you are passing that value, it's not going to open because in the alert dialog, we need to show the open. Once it's going to open, so show clear dialog. And how, as you can see right now, also if I just reload here, because it's getting the true value, that's why it's right there, you see the clear card. So now we're going to design a bit, so that could be little decent one. So now on open change, so that's the value which going to be there. Also it can be open, and after that we're going to go and render the value. If that is not open, then what it's going to do, set show clear dialog should be false. So right now, how it gonna work, if you click anywhere, it will not disappear yet, but we have that feature at there. So if we clear card, we need to cancel, because that's a very clear alert. So we need to get the user pattern to go and pass that by. Now for the clear up card, after the clear card, we need to have that, let's say, clear alert dialog description, right? In the description, we're gonna pass that, are you, let's say, sure to, are you sure you want to clear your card, and this action cannot be undone, and all items will be removed from your cart, right? That could be the message over there. And after that, we should be like in the footer here. So after the header, you see, after header portion, we're gonna also happen to be that alert dialog, not alert dialog footer. In the footer, we should be happen to be two button, which gonna be alert dialog cancel. So in the cancel, so that could be a button, should be a cancel. So in the cancel, what we're gonna do, we're gonna make an on-click parameter, and on the on-click event, we're gonna make that, let's say, set show clear dialog, which gonna be false. So that's gonna be the parameter which can cancel. So let's clear card, and also we need to provide some of that parameter right there. And after that, after this portion here, I'm gonna just copy this same intuition. So that would be the second button. So here we're gonna pass that, let's say it's gonna be yes, clear card. And for that itself, we're going to provide a class name. We're going to provide the bg of red of 600, let's say a 600 color, and also hover bg of red 700. And I'm going to pass that hover effect, and I'm going to pass that text should be, let's say, baby shop. We can use that color if you're looking forward to. Instead of red directly, we can use that baby shop red, and we can use that opacity of 800, and over here we can simply pass that like that. So it should be bj. Now you see, okay. Let's say uber, it should be baby shop white. I'm gonna keep it like that. So okay, there is certain changes right there. Okay, clear. Alert dialog, baby shop red, hover effect. Oh, there is a shadow, right? There should be shadow. Hover text should be baby shop white. That's it. So yeah, now you can see, if I click yes, you can see entire cart item should be removed. Now once we are removing that, now we didn't pass the function to remove it. As you can see, that should be clearly remove that. So that would be confirm clear card, right? So okay, confirm the clear card, and that could be done. So now once you're running the confirm clear card, you can see the clear card gonna set show dialog. Also we can pass that set loading, is loading should be true, and we can come in the finally, and then we can pass that set loading should be false. Okay, that should be true and false. Now what's gonna happen if I gonna clear card, you see it's gonna popping up that alert, which is to be good to provide that, and you can have a proper idea. In the live is not there, but we're adding it right there, and also you're gonna push that in the live, because what I'm doing right now, we are actually providing that a baby shop, especially in a different motion. So we're gonna come back in a very soon with that property. So right now, what we can do here, once we click proceed to checkout, we are going back directly in our checkout page, right? The card is done. So now every single thing need to be handled, especially on the checkout terms, so that it can be really cool to do that. And also we can do the similar pattern. Instead of providing the data here, I don't want to make it an client side. If if you want to make, you can make it. That doesn't, because what I really want that you can take some advantages from here. If you are understanding a bit better, you can find the tune. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, so bring back the common and the pages. I'm gonna create another file which gonna be checkout page line.tsx rfce. That should be checkout page client. Okay, so over here, instead of that positioning, we're gonna simply pass that checkout page, not like that, checkout page client. Okay, so you can see the checkout page client is loaded. So now what we can do, we can start building our checkout page, which is gonna be a pretty much heck of a things, because there would be a lot of parameter, our payment integration, our order modulation, everything gonna be working together there. So make sure you are understanding it properly. Take your coffee, take a little bit of rest. If you're still till here, then start with me, because there are a lot of calculation, a lot of parameter you're gonna handle together. In the checkout, first we're going to start the similar pattern which we did before. So first of all, if we just come back here, this should be the page should be entirely as an use client flag. So we're going to make that one as a use client. And over here, we're gonna just bring back our use state parameter. We're gonna provide that our order item, like the order, which gonna be order API. Then also gonna be coming as an order is the address. The address is gonna be coming from the lib API. I think the order, which this should be the order type. I believe so, not the actual API resolution here. Let me just check. That should be order. Okay, so yeah, it could be coming like that. So then we're gonna also happen to be get the use search params. We're gonna get the use router. And not the next router, should be coming from the next navigation. And also for the user store, I'm gonna make it a little bit bigger so that you can see it properly, and also gonna be passing that use user store. Now what actually going to be there, as you can see, we have the order. So we're gonna order set order, especially to get back the order in the real time. We're gonna passing that loading, set loading, processing, set processing. Also we are processing the order and doing the other tricks. Then we're also going to be finding that auth loading, set auth loading, selected address, set selected address, which is going to be typed as an address, and address set address value, which will be there. Should be is creating order, set is creating order. Once we're going to create, it should be boolean value, so it's going to be showing an alert model. We're going to also passing the search params. We're going to passing that router from use router, and auth token, auth user is authenticated, verify auth, passing from use user store, getting the card items with quantities clear card from the use card store, then also getting the order ID. If we are passing the order from the search params.get ID, which gonna bring back us our order ID. Now, first thing first, we need to verify our authentication, right? So what I'm gonna do after that, already it's gonna be verified from the layout, but we can go and maximize on that. So verify. So verify authentication on component mount, and there we're going to use that use effect parameter here as is the use client, so it should not be having a problem whenever we're going to using that our use client like use effect parameter. So here what we're going to do, we're going to just create a simple function which going to be like a const checkout, and set auth loading should be true. Auth token, if there is auth token and no user, await verify auth, we need to wait for verification, and whenever verified, then we can stay on that parameter, right? So should be the auth token, should be the auth user, and also the verify auth that could take in place. So right now nothing gonna happen. You can see it's gonna be just as simple as right now. And after that, we also need to be passing that. So what I'm going to do in that particular use effect, we did the verify token here. So verify the auth. And after that, we're going to having another token. So you can see we're going to do a lot of parameter, right? So let's toast. So over here, what we are going to do, I'm going to also get that things done to be there. First of all, initializing the checkout. So before that, we're going to go at the use effect, which is that if auth loading return. So if there is auth loading, means no auth, it will return the value. And also it's going to check if there is user or authentication is there or not. Otherwise, also it's going to make return. Then it's going to load the user address. If auth user dot address is there and auth user address dot length is bigger than 0, means we have that user address. Then, because if we just come back over here and go to the proceed to checkout page right there, as you can see, so I'm going to click and redirect to checkout. As you can see, this value is not founding. You can see we need to add the address. Without address, we cannot select the parameter to go to click on continue, and then we can go directly after continue to provide the value itself. So right now, this is the thing. We are loading the user address whenever it's mounting, or the first mounting we are loading the address. And if there is the address is there, it should be an array of address. We are putting the set address of user address. And if auth user address length is equal to 1, what we do, we making that set selected address should be the first one. If a single address is there, it should be the selected, right? And if multiple address value is there, the default address should be authUser.address.find and should be address.default. And here we are setting the address as a default address, otherwise should be the auth address or 0 value. So this is the function which handling that property of to create the addresses parameter. Then also we're making the initialize checkout, which is going to be a synchronous function. First of all, set loading getting true. Try if we have the order ID, we are fetching the order directly, and const order ID await get order by ID, because we can land here if the order is not paid yet. We can, whenever we're gonna click to pay, that order gonna redirect back to our user checkout, from where user can see the value and can pay it, or you can directly pay using this type. Is up to you. So that value can be working out together. So here we are just getting order according to the order ID and also getting to the auth token. If we have the order data, we're setting order as the order data. Otherwise, we're providing the error, we are pushing to the card. Else, if we have the card items with quantities dot length is equal to 0, your card is empty, also you're passing that user card. Then we're passing that create a temporary order object for display. So the temporary order is coming, ID should be the temporary ID, user ID, the auth user ID, items getting for the items there, and we're mapping through the items. We're getting the product ID, name, price, quantity, and the image, also getting the total value from there. Status is pending, shipping address by default getting 0, created at getting to and string updated. Set order should be the temporary order to create that. Then we are just making it by false, and then initializing the checkout, which dependency on that order ID, auth token, router is authenticated, auth user, auth loading, and third items with quantity. There's a lot of things. You can remove some of the portion to go by, and you can also act some of the portion to keep on that. Now after that, again, if I go one by one typing at all, it's gonna be take a huge time. So I'm copy pasting, but you can monitor it and you can change the criteria. You can ask yourself we are needing it or not. Then you can decide for, you can ask questions on yourself. Now you're going to have the handle address update. So the update address going to be value as an address, an array of addresses. Set address should be the updated address. Now if the updated address dot length is equal to 0, we are passing the selected address like that. So whenever we're going to selecting the address, it's going to change the value. Else if update address length is 1, so we are now getting the default value here. So this is the way we are selecting the address. That's it. Now we're going to do the same variation. Remember, I keep it multiple times so that at least you can have to be having understanding on that, because now it's a time for AI. Nobody is looking the code they are typing. So I'm keeping that, keeping some extra code, so you can have little bit of time on yourself. You can trigger your enigma and try to resolve those parameters wherever I'm putting in extra. That's the work for you. I'm keeping it. If you try, you are welcome. If it doesn't try, even the code will work. Now we're gonna have the calculate subtotal. That's how it's gonna get to order. If there is no order item, we're passing that as 0. Otherwise, we're getting the order item just reduce. We're getting the price into quantity. Also the calculate shipping item, the same shipping. What I recommend you keeping a variable at the env, and in this production layer code, this is right there already passing to an env. Then we have the calculate tax, we have the calculate total. Good, we are good to go. Then also we're going to happen to have a for especially for the Stripe checkout portion, so redirect to checkout, which need to be coming right now is nothing there. I'm going to keep it right now, so later on we're going to provide that. And also need to provide the checkout session, or what we can do, I'm going to keep it. Okay, I'm going to make that, let's say, handle Stripe checkout function. Okay, function, and we can just simply make that handle Stripe This type checkout, we're gonna just simply pass that an empty value. Okay, handle is type checkout. So later on, we're gonna bring that up. Okay, so first of all, remember the way we are showing the loading beforehand. We're gonna do the same trick right here also. That could be our loading. So instead of passing loading here, you can see what we did before. We can simply cut that. We don't want to keep it right here. What we're gonna do, we're gonna go in our skeleton. We're gonna pass that checkout skeleton.tsx rfce. Okay, ce. Here we're gonna pass that our checkout is skeleton, and that could be passing a skeleton value, ui skeleton, and also we need to get our container. That's it. So now we can simply pass over here, should be checkout checkout skeleton. Okay, so now if I just go over here and also passing the auth loading, you can see just a similar fashion of the card. So now you can change the design if you're looking forward to. So whenever it's loading, we're gonna pass that. And also if there is no order according to the item is right here, if some by mistake, if somebody is just plunging on there, you know, we need to provide a particular data layer so user can understand they are in wrong place. So if I just go, there is no order, we can just simply pass that order not found. The order you're looking for doesn't exist or has been removed, return to cart. So there we can pass the value. The order is placed, we can remove the cart once you're passing directly from there. So this is how we can really make things done. So if there is no order, we can pass the value accordingly. So right now what I'm gonna do, this is the similar structure of the card. You can see we are passing that order details, we are passing the payment method. So the design, it could be something similar, but what you can do instead of the div, I'm going to just put that, I'm going to go a little bit fast and forward, but you need to paste down the way you were understanding it. So class name padding y should be 8. Okay, done. And after that, we're going to also make that, let's say, page bedcom, and over here we're going to simply pass that item should be, let's say, I'm going to provide an item label should be it should be cart or it should be checkout. Okay, checkout, no, label should be, yes, cart. So that could be the second parameter here, and the href should be, let's say, href should be /cart. So that would be, it can go directly in the cart parameter. And then the current page should be, it should be passing that checkout page. So checkout, right? check checkout. So that's the checkout page. And after that, show social icons should be false. Right now it can, it's still, because by default it's the false value, so we no need to pass that one. Okay, so hit save. Okay, where is the checkout? Okay, I just closed that. So checkout checkout page client. So now we have the breadcrumb. Then here we can pass the simple title here, which can showcase this is the checkout, or you can see the checkout complete your order. The same thing gonna be passing it together. So one thing it's gonna be order details, another could be the order summary. So here I'm gonna maximize on that. So let's say we're gonna pass a div here, and then we're gonna pass a comment here, which gonna be passing that order details, and then it should be the div. Then another div gonna be coming here, which gonna be passing that order summary, and that div gonna be entertaining there. So two separate div which gonna be entertaining all the parameter and props. So that could be highlighting all together in a very good and decent manner. So right now, as we can see, we can go with the suspend boundary later on, but right now we're going to just provide the data layer to be making things done. So as you can see, we're going to go and build up all together in a very good fashion. So let's go start with that. In the first segment at the so we're going to show here the details. So over here at that particular team, we're going to make some work of it. And as you see here, first it will be for that addresses, right? So there we're gonna get the addresses, so we'll bring it up, and then we're gonna also have our order items, right? Order items, so this should be aligned all together. Okay, order items, and then the both should be aligned together to make that things work perfectly. And after that, we also have to get that payment information, right? So these three things going to be coming together at the very left side. So first of all, before pulling that address, so I'm going to just keep it a div here, so should be addresses. Okay, so I'm going to bring it after that. Now I'm going to work with the div as we have the other credential to provide the data for the order details. I'm going to just go to bring one h2 tag which going to say order details. So in the order details, of course, to the class name, we're going to make that text should be Excel and our font should be, let's say, I'm going to make it bold, not black, should be bold. And also I'm going to make that text gray of 900 and after that margin bottom of 6. So this could be the credential for that scenario for the order details segment. And also I'm going to go with a certain conversion here, which is going to be providing that style for it. Okay, should it be like not like that? I think I bring on more. So now here, as you can see, the all the details having a kind of certain kind of scenario by which it can project the data and others. And after that h2 gonna have another div, and then we're gonna make that order dot items dot map. So we're going to map through the entire item segment, and we're going to take item and we're going to take the index from there as to go through the mapping positioning here. And you're going to inline return here, you're going to return a div here. So let's say I'm going to say product, right? And also for that key should be, let's say I'm going to index to string. I'm going to make that to string so it can be manually. As you can see, we have 3 product and we can get we also show that a 3 line of a setup there. So now over here it could be very a simple structure and very like a simple scenario. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to drop those things what are actually going to be within this parameter. So this is the div, and over here in the div we're going to have the price formatter, and of course I'm going to explain everything to you. Then we have our image. So right now what's actually we are showcasing for every single products here. Okay, credit card image from the Lucid React. Okay, I think we're done. So now we are for all the products, as we are mapping through here and bringing back together what we did particularly showing that image for that particular product. Then if there is no image, right, like if we have no image, then it will just show a card. You can see that's the design only. Now you can modify it, make it better. You can put a dummy image for your order circulation, and you can do the other things. Then we are having that H3 for the item name, and also having the quantity and also the price formatter. As you can see, you can do now, there will be no increasing, decreasing or delete button, because it's just a summary, just a viewpoint where user can view what's happening around, right? And before building on that, I also need to do some work here. As you can see, all the details right here. So over here, we need to make a positioning here for the class name. I'm going to make it a grid, and the grid column should be, let's say 1, and an LG devices grid calls of 3, and also I'm going to put a gap of 8. Now, as we did that, as you can see, we have 2 div, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to make that class name over there, LG call span should be 2. So it's going to take that 2 separate email and space of type properly gonna be blended through. So, and also I'm gonna make that one better to be have 6. Okay, so as you can see, it's taking the 2 column of space, because right now is a 3 column parameter, right? So it's getting 2, and other 2 is just perfectly fine to work with. So now this is what we are building right now, actually, to go and handle all the possibilities to make things cool down. So now we have the order details. Then we're gonna also happen to be getting that. Where is the other one? We have the order items. Then we must to bring that order summary. Not the summary should be here. So we bring the order items. Okay. So now we're gonna summarize the order, like how much orders it's gonna be. So summarization gonna be coming at very later. Now, as you can see, the payment information that should be top. Okay, because the summary it would be go later on. So now what I'm gonna do here, let's just bring back the payment information, and I think that should be not here top of that. Okay, and for this one we are bringing that log icon. We are also bringing that check icon circle, and that's it. Now in the order information, what actually showcasing payment information. Either you can, by default you can go with this Stripe checkout payment and secure payment in this Stripe, and also you can go through the cash and delivery module. That's up to you, whatever you want to following through it, but it can work both in a similar way. Now for the payment information, okay, it's already here. So for the payment information, what we're doing, we are just showing that payment information, then we are providing a credit card and a Stripe checkout payment, just the details about to magnify significantly adore what's actually we're building. Now, what we need to do, we need to provide that address selection, because remember, without providing the address, the user should not be able to get the data. So of course we need to make these things very aligned. So what I'm gonna do in that pages, so in the components, let's say I'm gonna create another file which gonna be address selection.tsx. so that should be address, right? So over here I'm going to bring that. So instead of this entire proportion, it's going to be address selection. So now you can see address is right there, but we're going to do something more, right? From the address selection, we need to provide some of the props. Should be, let's say I'm going to provide 4 of the props here regarding the address parameter. So first thing first, it's gonna be go through the selected address, whatever address we had been selected. Also, it's gonna be do the other proportion on select, which gonna be set selected address. So should be null value, true, false value. Then also it's gonna be address, all the address data, and on address update. So as you can see at the top there, the function is right there, which gonna be update our addresses. Now let's go back here because we need to provide the perfect typing for these interfaces. So now, right now, what are you gonna do for the address props? It's gonna be coming the type as address, so should be types there. And now, what I'm gonna do in that particular significant parameter, it can go with that react.fc, should be fc, which quotationing that functional component. And after that, we're gonna simply pass that address selection props. Okay, so that's the props we are talking about. Now, as we having the props, we can now dig down to bring everything. Like we can get the selected address, we can get that on address change. So all the parameter is right there. So also you can get address update, and on address update. So now all value is right there. So what we can do, we can now work properly to align it all together. But before going further, what we need to do, we need to have certain kind of like the certain kind of state here to work with that. The first state which we are talking about to grab it for that is like the dialog open, or set is dialog open for to get the information, and also we're gonna grab it for that format data by which we're gonna functioning all the data components. Then also we are bringing the user from the user store, especially for the user and auth token, because we're gonna needing that one later on. And then we having that loading and is loading a parameter, right? So in the use effect parameter, what we can do, I'm gonna just drop those everything, then explain to you, because this is the similar functionality which we did earlier. So nothing new here, but having a different approach, right? So first of all, what we are doing actually here, let's say we are bringing that in the use effect, we are calling some of the component that is dialog open or not, which whenever the receipt form is called, the dialog should be go on that one. And we have the receipt form, so that's the first instances. So that's the receipt form. It should be making everything as an empty, and here it will call. So every time if it's at dialog open, it will receive the enter form, right? And then also we have the handle addresses by which we are just grabbing the addresses from API. So what's actually we're doing, so let's say add addresses. So now what we are doing, as you can see, so a handle address is going to be handle all the address functioning. So now first of all, what if there is no user, no auth token? If there is no user, no auth token, he might not be here. That's the first attempt. But to make sure that our function did not run even anyone just cross-passing here, we are returning that if we doesn't find the auth user, if we doesn't find the auth token, but user should be written from there. Then we're making the set loading true, and in the try catch value, you see the cache, and finally using the same quotation. And in the result, what we're doing, await add address, we are getting to the auth address dot underscore id from that auth token. Then we are updating that own address function. That's what we are running here. So now after running that, we have the toast message which gonna be handling success, set add dialog. So this is gonna just simply add our address within our database. Also, we can do the edit address, which gonna be making that update address. You can either keep it here, or best thing is that you can directly go and keep it in your profile. Now this will update, this will delete the address. From here you can also delete the address, but it's not a good practice. But for instances, we're just keeping it right here. You can do it, or you can go through it. Open edit dialog, which can open the dialog module, and that's it. So now what we gonna do here, so let's say instead of that div, we're gonna use a simple card property, and in the card put a class name. I'm gonna provide a full width length, right? So as you can see, that's gonna get the entire full width structure, and then we're gonna happen to get that card header. So in the card header, we're gonna have that, let's say, card title. So in the card title, it would be a shipping address, right? So you see, that's the title which we are talking about. And for the card title, put a class name, should be flex, item should be, actually this is not mandatory, because it's going to be a simple structure here. Now after that, we're going to have that cart content. So in the cart content, it's going to be mapping through all the addresses the user have. Addresses dot length, if it's there, right, if we have the addresses is equal to 0, then we're going to provide something like no addresses added. And if, then we're gonna put something at, so let's say okay, we have addresses. No, it doesn't have it. Okay, we have addresses, yes. So right now I'm gonna just putting the quotation here, like the notation. So this is gonna happen once we are having to be no addresses available, right? Okay, I think I bring something more maybe. Okay, so okay, it's gonna be like that. With some error pops because we need to bring all of those things. Okay, I'm gonna show you also what's actually happening so that you will understand. We have the dialog and dialog trigger, and of course you may slightly think that's I'm just copy pasting what we are doing, but if you go through entire structure, like entire playlist, you see we did all those things, right? So I want you to trigger your creativity to do something more and do something better, to initialize how it's gonna work and how you can bring your creativity, because this is a long video, long project. So now you know that a lot of things which I'm building here, you have the idea. So I just want you to have a freedom to test what actually can be built or which need to be built right now. Okay, so right now if we go here at the top, if I just close, so right now as you can see, I'm gonna just, okay, that map pin should be available. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna make that as, you know, crossing down. So what is gonna happen if I just open, you see it gonna go through add a new address, which gonna like add address, and the validation is right there. And what actually we are doing here, okay, right now as we update, I can simply remove that. Okay, so here what we're doing, if we doesn't have the address, we're just showing the map pin icon that no shipping address found, this details here, then add your first address parameter. And once you click on that add your first, is you see is added this, the model gonna be open, and also add your first address and then add new address. So whenever you're gonna clicking, it will automatically start adding the address. We have the street address, city, we have the postal code, and we have country code and others. So this is the simple formation. So if you doesn't know how to do that configuration by yourself, you know, you can go through the entire code structure and then you can add it. So now what's gonna happen once we have the code, right? So once we have the code, we're gonna make that, let's say it, if the addresses dot length, if it's just one, right? If it's one, what it's gonna do, let's say div, and then it's gonna make that, let's say gonna be p tag your address has been automatically selected for shipping. Okay. uh, Addresses. Okay, I need to remove that null check because we are happen to be have the addresses. So let's go here and remove this. Okay, so now as the first address gonna be popping up, so means we have the addresses. What we will pass a simple message, right? That your address gonna be by default as a shipping address. So put a class name, margin bottom should be 4 and a padding should be 3. BG should be green of 50 and also border should be green of 200 and rounded gonna be LG. So this is just a message passing layer. You can add some more icon here to make it more valuable or more better. This up to you. Text should be SM and our text should be green of 800. Okay, something like that. And of course we can also bring a simply a icon or a text notation. So this is gonna showing here that this just gonna be as your shipping address. Now we also need to pass a radio group to select the address, right? So I'm gonna bring okay, I'm gonna get that radio group, RADIO radio group from our UI. And on the radio group, we will also have the deep, and on the deep we can simply pass that addresses, not like that, should be addresses dot map. We're gonna go through the entire address. So let's say gonna be address, and over here in the address we're gonna just pass that another div, so should be address, right? And what we're gonna just simply passing that a key should be, or those things we did all together several times, so we can just simply pass this value. I think that can save a lot of time for your development, as right now you have access to the code. So let's go. It's gonna be open the edit model, and it's gonna also pass that radio item from the UI card, and I think that would be fine. So what else? Okay, there is some error. Okay, trash icon, we forget to bring that. Let's go icon. Okay, this should be the trash too. Okay, so now as you can see what actually happening in the shipping address. Okay, at the shipping address, so this is the address which we are talking about. Why is not okay? Addresses, if we have the address, then we're mapping through it. Not bad. Okay, I think we can do one more parameter, is that margin bottom is right here, but still we're not happen to be get that gap. Margin bottom is not working. Okay, margin bottom is not working. Okay, it's because our this group should be below of okay, should be below of that. So okay, I'm having some mistake somewhere. So this is the address, right? So here the div gonna be finish. So this is the div which certainly gonna, okay, which gonna be finishing the entire statement here. So this is the div which containing that addresses. So if we have the addresses, and okay, this gonna be here. Yeah, it's gonna be independent. Yeah, that's why it's not getting it. So now what's actually happening, we are providing that a radio group button. If we have the multiple address and others, then we are mapping through the addresses according to the ID. And also we're showcasing the radio group button where you can, add multiple button here. And, the map icon and others just for the design purposes, showing the addresses, city and others. And also we have that edit button. Right now it will do nothing. Also the delete button, which can, okay, we deleted our address. So, okay, we will make another address. Let's say, test route 20, and we're gonna go with that add address. So it's gonna be, you see, it's already added. Now you can go, what we can do to make sure that whenever you're gonna mapping through, like pushing through, that edit model gonna open. right? So this both model, which are going to be for the edit and add, I'm going to just circulate here. So both model can inject all together. You see, whenever you're going to click on that, it's going to just, let's say, a street 32 and house 25. Okay, and we update the address, so it will automatically update. And if we have multiple address, let's say test 2, and here again the same thing, you can see right now we have two addresses and that message is gone because we now need to select from the two. Okay, also click on add address, it will automatically go popping up the data. Now there is the functionality which working perfectly. So we have the two models. So one model is just to go through indicating that add address parameter. So this is the add address, whatever we did at the top. Then we have the is edit model open. So here we are providing the edit address, street address and others. So all the data are going to be coming in information from the input and also for the city, for the country and for the others. And of course, let me know in the comments if you want to go and exposure side by side, because I have so many projects stacked in between and this is the biggest one, so that I want to also conserve it as soon as possible, because otherwise I cannot move through the other projects. So if you have any error, if you have any problem or confusion to go and get it done by yourself, let me know in the comments, because as I'm providing the code, so you may not have the problem, but even though if you're having it, let me know, because right now what you can do, you can get everything in the client app 3, all the code should be available right there. So right now we have the shipping address, we have the order details, we have the payment information. So what is the balance? So the balance is that, especially if we go directly within our checkout client page here, so the balance is that, you see right now we got our like the order details, right? So we need to work on that, our order summary provision, where we can just pass all the value to do the good things for us. So now in the order summary, in the summary value, we will provide, now this one I want to go in a very slow pace because we have a lot of other things to cover, and put a class name here. So the class name should be LG, and by default it will get one, but better I'm going to keep it to let it know that we're just functioning on that. So now after that, we're going to also happen to grab a div, and here we will pass an item here which is going to be order summary. So I'm going to minimize that one so that you will see what actually is happening under the hood. So you can see the below layer which is going to be for our order summary, and also we are needing to have some kind of style here. So that should be a style for that div, okay, which is going to be basic white. You can use your theming white, and also the rounded the theming white is that if I just go with that baby shop white, you see that's the theming white. So you can go also create those segments. Now after that h2, we're going to have a div here. In the div, we're going to also have another div, because we have certain kind of conversion span tag, which is going to be, let's say, subtotal, right? So this is going to be the subtotal value. After that, we're going to also have that price formatter. In the price formatter, we're going to provide the price. The amount should be, let's say, calculate it should be calculate a subtotal, right? So calculate subtotal, there's a function just provided. You can see that's the subtotal value. If you add it all together for 19 plus 25, so you will grab that this value here. So all the calculation you need to check one by one again, because it might have some error, but it's better if you can fix that. So space y should be 4, because some certain kind of tricks I'm keeping it so you people can tune it yourself. So class name should be flex, item should be center, justify should be between, and then also we're going to make that padding y should be 2. So this is the continuation over here. For the span tag, for the class name tag should be gray of, let's say it's going to be gray of I'm going to provide a 600 value here. And also for that price formatter, we need to provide some of the price calculation here, not the price calculation, but some of the style here. As you can see, text base from medium, text gray of 900. So as we did that, the other property gonna be come align all together, right? So I'm gonna just copy the other parameters. So after that div, we should be happen to get 2 more divs, which going to get our, like say, it's gonna be the shipping fee, and the shipping fee which gonna be coming the calculate shipping fee function. As you can see, you can also keep it here, or you can move it for you directly in your env file or in your database layer. Now after that, we also happen to get the text, which gonna be also calculate the text value. And after that, let's say if we have that calculate shipping, right? And the calculate shipping, let's say, is equal to 0, like no shipping is allowed, okay? Like no fee is just getting to be added. Then what we can do is that we can simply show it the message, right? Then a p tag. So we can just simply pass that particular divisioning message here, which will say, let's say it's gonna just pass, okay, it's gonna just pass that you are you are qualified for free shipping. As you can see, we are not happen to because it's more than 100 or 2 or 1000, whatever the ratio you are adding for your project. It will work in the similar way to make it done in a proper ratio. So now this address is qualified for free shipping. Now after that, we also going to be putting a separator. So should be separator, and on that separator it's going to be providing that just a line here. So in the separator, I'm going to provide a class name, should be my should be 4. So it's going to sorry, not py should be okay, y is capital, my should be 4. Okay. Now after the separator, we also going to have some more parameters. So now it's going to happen to get the total value, right? So whatever value you're having right now, it's going to get the total value. So the total value is coming from adding the 445 and adding the tax value, adding the shipping value if available. Then we are providing the other total parameter. And after that, after end of that structure, we happen to get a button, right? And the button gonna be taking a lot of things, lot of parameter gonna be. So right now I'm gonna keep that, let's say, pay with Stripe. Okay, just a simple button. Now of course we need to redesign it to make it better, and here we will design it a pretty similar way. First of all, the size, I want the button should be a larger button. And of course, I'm gonna provide some of the class name. I want the full width should be aligning together. Margin top should be 6 to make it done at the lower. And then I'm gonna go with the BJ blue of 600, and hover BJ, or you can go, I think better is not to go with the blue. So the BJ or the effect, I think the simple, yeah, I think the initial button design is okay. Okay, so padding y whatever is that. So I'm going to go with that disabled parameter, or font should be medium. I think medium is by default right now, so we can just make that semi bold as the button is right here. And of course on the hover, okay, hover text should be baby shop sky, and should be passing that hover effect. So okay, oh, not baby shop, right? Should be okay, so it will be fully white. You can see just a certain commotioning going on. So now after that, once we are disabling that button, I want to make it that let's say once disable, opacity should be 50. So it will be like if we just make that disabled, you can see the value, it will not work. So also you can check other parameter, like to go and do the other certain things. And also when it gonna be disabled, it will be disabled if we have that, let's say if we have the processing parameter running on, and also if we have that is creating order is running on, and also we having that if there is no select order, select add address, selected selected address. So this 3 times. If it doesn't have the address selected, you can't pay. If you're running the payment processing, you can't do anything. You can have, if it's running is creating order, it will also not work in a proper way. So now we are going to contradict with some kind of segment here, style ratio and others. First of all, if we are having that processing, right? If we have processing, I want to pass something, right? And if we have let's say if we have the processing, then it's gonna be, let's say I'm gonna right now just see processing, right? And by default, if it's getting that by default value, it will be there. The default, it will be, let's say pay, default will be pay with Stripe. Right now it will be showing that pay with Stripe. Now if we just put that null value, it will show the processing parameter. So this actions we are actually triggering by default, so that every time we are running any of the icon and others, like if it's loading, the loading instance is going to be seen. If it's just initializing the other, it will show other parameter as well. So now if we have that, let's say okay, why I think make a mistake. Okay, I might have bought something which not needing here. Okay, circle. Okay, done. So what's actually we're doing, we're passing if the order is on processing, if the processing is actually working, it will show processing. If it's creating order is open, it will show creating order, the message. So you're going to have a proper view. If we have no selected address, it will just pass select address to continue. And also the lock, if we have a lock button and others, that it will show the pay with Stripe. You see, once you do that, it's going to be working on make those things done. Now we need to provide the function, right? So once you're gonna click on that, or I can just make it here, it should be under Stripe checkout. So let's go back to the Stripe checkout. Right now it's totally empty because we didn't create anything for that handle checkout segment. So right now what we need to do, we need to go and bring to make all the formula by which we can create the checkout.